2-0 loss. Julian Tavarez against Kevin Millwood. We hand you off to Don Orsillo and Jerry Remy for the call.
You never know what to expect when you come to Texas. Back on April 30th of 2004, a rain and hail storm. We flash forward to tonight, a very chilly evening in Arlington, Texas, as snow showers came through the area this afternoon and possibly expected again tonight. That's the way it has been so far for the Red Sox this season. As we take a look at some of the numbers, a little bit different from a year ago. Last year, the Red Sox opened the season against the Texas Rangers here in Texas and then went to Baltimore where the weather was still very good. In Game 5, the Red Sox still at 75 degrees in that series as they ended up much warmer last year than they do this season, starting off very chilly in Kansas City and in Texas. Hi again, everybody. Don Orsillo along with Jerry Remy. Welcome to Red Sox Baseball. Well, certainly the biggest news of the spring came on March 22nd when we found out Jonathan Papelbon was headed back to the bullpen. That created a spot for a starter, and that starter we see tonight, Julian Tavares.
Well, Don, you know, even on very good teams that have good pitching, usually that 5 spot throughout the course of a season can be a revolving door, and of course right now it's going to be Julian Tavares, and he's very excited about this opportunity. Now, remember last year, because of all the injuries, Tavares did end up in the starting rotation toward the end of the year, made 6 starts for the Red Sox, and had the 3-0 record, and was kind of fun to watch. I mean, he was kind of a character out on the mound. You didn't know what to expect out of him, except that he did pitch very well. I think the plans are, as time goes on, that John Lester, once he gets back completely healthy after his minor league program, that he may be back up as the 5 starter. One thing the Red Sox do is they have some depth. You know, we got Tavares there. You have Lester, who we just saw, and also Kyle Snyder has the ability to someday maybe go into that 5 spot. So the revolving door in baseball at the number 5 spot continues, but the Red Sox do have some depth. First guy out of the chute, Julian Tavares. We'll see how he does tonight.
He's part pitcher, part traffic cop, and he takes the baseball tonight.
It's a whole new season and a whole new ball game. Major League Baseball 2K7 from 2K Sports. Rated everyone.
Quikrete Concrete. For over 60 years, it's been used by just about everyone for just about everything. Quikrete, king of the concrete jungle.
You've never driven anything like it. The Nissan Murano. Seamless, efficient acceleration from its CVT transmission. You've never seen anything like it. SUV versatility, 5-star safety rating in one beautiful package. Lease the Nissan Murano for just $299 a month. Feel it, see it, believe it. At your Nissan dealer now.
It's a whole new season and a whole new ball game. Major League Baseball 2K7 from 2K Sports. Rated everyone.
Closed captioning provided by Finago A Bagel, Boston's own sandwich, soup, salad, melt, and of course bagel cafe with 20 locations throughout eastern Massachusetts. Boston Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, your New England Subaru dealers, Coors Light, Foxwoods Resort Casino, LP Plumber, and by New England Toyota dealers. Yeah, good evening once again, everybody. Welcome to Rangers Ballpark in Arlington as the Red Sox and Texas Rangers play the middle game of the three-game series. Let's check out the Red Sox starting lineup brought to you by your New England Dodge dealers. Julio Lugo leads it off at shortstop with Kevin Youkilis at first base, David Ortiz at DH, Manny Ramirez in left field, J.D. Drew in right, Mike Lowell at third base, Jason Varitek doing the catching, Coco Crisp in center, and Dustin Pedroia at second base, bats ninth. The starting pitcher tonight brought to you by Panasonic, and on the mound the ace for the Texas Rangers, Kevin Millwood.
Well, you see the numbers so far this year. That loss coming against the Angels, 5 innings in that game, 5 hits and 3 earned runs. Against the Red Sox, 3-3 in his career. And of course, Millwood coming off a 16-12 season a year ago with the Texas Rangers. That was in 34 starts.
Well, they tell us it is 38 degrees here, and that is plummeting as the night goes on, as expected. And they're expecting some sleet, freezing rain, or snow. The trifecta of possibilities here tonight in Texas. Overnight at some point, but underway tonight nevertheless. Lugo checks in at 267 with no homers and a run batted in. He was hitless in 3 at-bats yesterday. And sprays one foul down the right field line back into the seats.
I guess it was about 11:30 this morning. I peeked out the window of the hotel, and there was some sleet and snow falling, and very briefly for about 5 to 10 minutes.
Well, this is the coldest it has been at the ballpark in Arlington. 51 degrees had been the previous low, and they have surpassed that and then some here tonight. As Lugo punches at it and strikes out to begin the ball game.
Well, I mentioned Millwood had 5 strikeouts in his first outing against the Angels. After a bunch of fastballs to Lugo, he goes with his best pitch, and his best pitch is his curveball, and Lugo cannot control the head of the bat. Home plate umpire Tim McCullen making the out call.
So Lugo frustrated with his experience with Kevin Millwood, and it brings up Kevin Youkilis. Youkilis so far 3 for 16 to begin the season at 188. With the lone Red Sox home run on the season.
Red Sox will see the 2 different types of fastball, cross seam, 2 seam, the curveball, a slider, and a changeup from Millwood.
Nicholas taking a strike that time on the count, 1-1. You have to wait on Tim McClellan, and he went up late with the strike call. 1-1 the count. Youkilis taking another strike. Well, Kevin Youkilis hitless in his last 8 trips after the 7th inning home run. And the 7th on Wednesday is Red Sox only home run this season so far. Swinging a foul ball over by the Red Sox dugout. It's 1-2 still to Youkilis.
Now the Rangers and Ron Washington very happy about their win yesterday, not only because it was their first of the season, but it's what he's trying to preach, pitching and defense, and they certainly had both of those in the game yesterday against the Red Sox. This has always been known as an offensive ball club.
Robinson Tejada earning his first home victory of the season with the 2-0 blanking along with the bullpen yesterday. Since being recalled by the Rangers on August 19th of last year, he's been 5-2 with a 2.05 ERA. Things have gone quite well for him since coming over from the Philadelphia Phillies. Youkilis almost bending into that, and he did. It hit him, or at least he thinks it did. McClellan says no, but Youkilis right away was headed to first base.
That's that 2-seam fastball from Millwood that just kind of went barreling inside, and you can see it must have just missed Kevin Youkilis. Youkilis thought he got hit. McCullen right away said no.
Well, he lines it into center field. Glad that he didn't get to first base on the hit batsman. He'll get a base hit instead.
The Ranger defense is brought to you by your New England Ford dealers. They've made 5 errors in the 4 games they've played. Hank Blaylock at third base. Michael Young, the shortstop. Jerry Hastings gets a start at second tonight. And Mark Teixeira, two-time Gold Glove winner at first. Left to right, Brad Wilkerson, Kenny Lofton, and Nelson Cruz. And Gerald Laird doing the catching for Kevin Millwood.
Tim McClellan has a plate tonight with Fielding Culberth at first base, Paul Schreiber at second base, and Rob Drake is the umpire at third. One out, runner at first for Big Papi. Ortiz so far a slow beginning to 2007, 2 for his first 15. No homers, the 1 RBI, which he knocked in the first inning of opening night in Kansas City. Down and in, and Ortiz quickly ahead 2-0. He has 1 hit in his last 14 at-bats after that RBI double in his first plate appearance of the season. Actually had a 4 strikeout game on Thursday in the finale of that series against Kansas City. Rides it into center field, a base hit. Youkilis up to second base. And the Red Sox have runners at first and second with 1 down here in the first.
Well, that's something that Ortiz has not seen very much of. 2-0 fastballs, 2 balls and no strikes, and Millwood does come with the fastball, and Ortiz is all over it. That ball down outside part of the plate, and the line shot up the middle. So his good fortune continues against Kevin Millwood.
Now the key matchup brought to you by Killian's, and there are the numbers. If anybody's going to get you out of a slump, it's a guy that you do well against, and certainly Ortiz has over the course of his career against Kevin Millwood. So first and second, 1 down for Manny. Manny at 286 to begin the year, 4 for 14. No homers and a run batted in. And he also against Millwood, 4 for 14 with a home run. And he 30 home runs shy of 500 in his major league career. And has always hit particularly well here at Rangers Ballpark. He hits at .312 here. Has had 7 career home runs. As he takes a strike from Millwood, even the count now at 1-1.
That looked to be the first slider or cut fastball from Millwood tonight. So we've seen all his pitches now: the fastball, the cut fastball, the curveball, and the changeup.
On the ground, left side, in the hole for Young, who goes to second to get the middleman as they erase Ortiz on the force-out. Really no chance to get Manny or turn the double play. 2 down.
Hairston at second base was not even thinking about 2. He kind of stretched out like a first baseman to make sure he got that out at second base. The ground ball takes Young way to his right, so no chance to turn over a double play. There's Hairston stretching out like a first baseman to get the force out.
So 2 down here in the top of the first inning. Red Sox with runners at the corners, and it brings up J.D. Drew. In the dirt and surrounded by Gerald Laird. Drew off to the 5 for 14 start in a Red Sox uniform. Hitting at .357, no homers and a run batted in for Drew. He hit safely in each of the season's first 4 games. And again, Laird having to lunge to his right that time to capture.
Change up from Millwood that's going to bounce out in front of home plate, and you see sliding to his right and blocking the ball is Gerald Laird. Both runners have to stay at first and third. Going back to last year, J.D. Drew is on an 8-game hitting streak. He's hitting every game so far this year for the Red Sox, plus a couple at the end of last season.
Swing and a miss that time. 93 from Kevin Millwood, and that one a little bit up. Hitting on direct, Mike Lowell on a chilly night tonight in Texas. Ooh, lifts a fly ball to shallow left. Wilkerson running towards the line. So is Young, and it'll fall. In from third comes Youkilis. Throw to third, and Manny is out there. Red Sox do get a run to take a 1-0 lead tonight in Texas. The Rangers coming up.
Oh, honey, I told the neighbors we'd feed their pets while they're away.
Oh, okay, sweetie. Oh, no. Ooh.
Want to get away? Now you can. With Southwest Airlines Internet specials, you can fly on one of our 23 daily nonstops from Manchester or Providence to Baltimore, Washington for just $49 one way. Purchased by April 12th.
You are now free to move about the country.
Hey, Ted. I'm gonna have to let you go.
It's the beard comb over, isn't it?
Yeah. It really makes me question your decision-making abilities, Ted.
What if I start drinking Sierra Mist free? It's free of calories, but it still has that great lemon lime taste. That would be a good decision.
Drinking Sierra Mist free would be a good decision, Ted, but I'm sorry.
Suddenly there's some norm that I don't get. You know, it's just...
Some people buy the Toyota Tacoma because it's rugged. Some because it retains its value. A Tacoma could also save you thousands compared to similarly priced trucks, which many find appealing. But the vast majority of Tacoma owners are Tacoma owners because of a little thing called Toyota reliability. Should you buy a Tacoma? Ask someone you know who drives one. They're out there.
Well, the Red Sox take the 1-0 lead on a bloop single by J.D. Drew. Now, Manny Ramirez off on contact with 2 outs at first base, and he'll get thrown out of third base. You know, you're never supposed to make the final out of third, but I think that changes a little bit when you're off on the contact and you're running, you know, as hard as you can. So Manny runs into the third out of the inning, but the Red Sox take the 1-0 lead.
Let's check out the Rangers starting lineup brought to you by Rico. Kenny Lofton atop that order again. Jerry Hairston getting the start today at second base. Michael Young at short. Mark Teixeira at first base. Sammy Sosa, the designated hitter. Hank Blaylock at third base. Brad Wilkerson in left field. Nelson Cruz starting in right. And Gerald Laird does the catching. And Asada brings you the starting pitcher. And tonight for the Red Sox, Julian Tavares.
Now, Tavares moved into the starting rotation on August 31st and went 3-0 with a 4.01 ERA. There you see the numbers as a starter, 5-4 overall. And against the Texas Rangers, 19 games, 1 start, has a 2-3 record.
Well, the Rangers welcoming Kenny Lofton to their roster, his 11th major league team. As Tavares ready to work, and the first pitch of his outing is in there for a strike to Lofton.
You know, Don, I'll bet you Tavares did not take 4 warm-up pitches, because we got back on air, he hadn't thrown 1. He threw about 3 or 4, and that was it.
Well, we know it doesn't take him very much to get warmed up. That has been the case in the past. And one of the things that Terry Francona likes about him very much, especially when he was in the pen, that it took virtually no time for him to get ready to go. Well, Kenny Lofton, the option for the Rangers. They lose Gary Matthews Jr. to the Angels to the tune of $55 million. The Angels paying him. The Rangers pay Lofton about $6 million for his services for 1 year, and he's the leadoff hitter now for the Rangers.
And of course, the Red Sox play him to hit the other way. Coco Crisp shaded over. Manny Ramirez shading toward the line against Kenny Lofton. Plenty of green out in this area.
Lofton has struggled lately, 0 for his last 10. And he takes strike 3 over the outside corner. Julian Tavares strikes out Lofton to begin the night.
Well, if the first inning and first batter for the Rangers is any indication, I think Tim McCullen's going to have a pretty big strike zone tonight. Tailing fastball away, outside corner, and McCullen making the strike call, which kind of stunned Kenny Lofton.
Well, known as one of the best balls and strikes men in the game. A guy who sometimes takes a long time to make that strike call, but generally you hear from players they like the strike zone that he has called over the years. Jerry Hairston gets a start today at second base, giving Ian Kinsler the night off.
Yeah, McCullen's been a very consistent umpire, and you're right, usually voted by the players as one of the top in the game. Of course, you know, the players hear the call from him. We don't see the call until a little bit later.
Down to first. Youkilis will handle it himself, and there's quickly 2 down.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you by a Boston area Lexus dealers. They've made 4 errors in their 4 games. Mike Lowell at third base, Julio Lugo the shortstop, Dustin Pedroia at second, and Kevin Youkilis at first. Left to right, Manny Ramirez, Coco Crisp, and J.D. Drew, and Jason Varitek doing the catching.
Well, 2 down on just 7 pitches for Julian Tavares, and it brings up Michael Young, one of the game's best hitters, who's off to a very slow start. Just 2 for 17 so far. No homers and a run batted in for Michael Young. Locked up Young during spring training, a 7-year contract here with the Texas Rangers. It'll take him through 2013. Just wrapping up his 5th consecutive full season with Texas. The Rangers want to make sure he's going to be here for a long time.
That must be a good feeling to sign a 7-year contract. You know where you're going to be, depending on what the no trade provisions are in that contract.
That's the 2nd highest contract that they have handed out. Obviously, the first one being Alex Rodriguez. As this one grounded by the mound. Pedroia was playing deeply, but gets there and throws out Young. It's a nice 1-2-3 first for Tavares. 1-0 Boston.
You've never driven anything like it. The Nissan Murano. Seamless, efficient acceleration from its CVT transmission. You've never seen anything like it. SUV versatility, 5-star safety rating in one beautiful package. Lease the Nissan Murano for just $299 a month. Feel it, see it, believe it. At your Nissan dealer now.
The Globe was always in my house. My father and I used to sit on his bed every Sunday and read through the Sunday paper.
Get Boston's Sunday Globe home delivery, just $175 per week for 12 weeks.
The Globe helps me feel like I'm a part of Boston.
My favorite section to read in the Boston Globe is definitely the sports section.
Keeps you in the forefront of what's happening politically.
I use the Boston Globe to plan my weekends.
There's a life to the city. There's a vivacity reflected in the Boston Globe.
It's like a good book that you can't put down.
You're going to find out what's really going on.
Call 1-800-467-4455 and you'll get local coverage of news, people, sports, and events.
I like the Globe South. I know what's going on in my neck of the woods.
I can have a different flavor of the different towns.
North Shore,
South Shore,
Cambridge,
the South End. To make a plan, I wouldn't live anywhere else.
Call 1-800-467-4455 for Sunday home delivery and get 12 weeks for $175 per week, a 50% savings.
It's the best feeling in the world on a Sunday morning to wake up and know that the Globe is right outside my door.
When the teams play at the same time, NESN has you covered on the diamond and on the ice. While the Sox take on the Rangers here on NESN live from Texas, the Bruins are battling the Ottawa Senators in their season finale on an alternate channel. Visit NESN.com to find the alternate channel in your area.
Well, the Bruins trailing 4-2 tonight in the second period in that game. Danny Heatley has picked up his 50th goal of the year for the Ottawa Senators. And as we mentioned, the Bruins playing right now their final game of the season. A special night for our colleague Doug Wheeler, the producer of Bruins hockey on NESN. Doug is producing his final game tonight as he retires after 4 decades in the television industry, both at TV 38 and at NESN. And from all of us at the Red Sox and NESN, we want to wish Doug the best of luck and say thanks for his service to the sports fans in New England over the past 40 years. And I know, Jerry, that when you were playing, he was actually a cameraman at one point, Doug Wheeler.
That's exactly right. Yeah, my early days as a player with the Red Sox. And congratulations, Doug. Enjoy retirement. And you've done a wonderful job for many, many years and a lot of different jobs in television.
Mike Lowell leading it off here in the second inning, to be followed by Jason Varitek and Coco Crisp. Lowell so far 4 for 16. Mike was 0 for 4 here yesterday. It hit safely in the first 3 games of the season. Really kind of lucked out yesterday with the 55-degree temperatures and a pretty good day here for the home opener for the Texas Rangers.
Well, it's cold. There's no question about that. And you don't expect it to here in Texas, but I don't think it's as bad as it was in Kansas City because there's no breeze.
Yeah, the wind was kind of a biting wind in Kansas City as the bat flipped back and almost hit Kevin McClelland on ball 4.
Well, during April, enter the 4th annual Briggs & Stratton Diamonds in the Rough Youth Essay Contest and tell your story. The grand prize winner receives $10,000, Briggs & Stratton power lawn equipment for their team and home field, and a baseball clinic from Tino Martinez.
Now leadoff walk for Mike Lowell, who stands at first base. Kind of errantly flipped the bat back and almost got Tim McClellan. Varitek 1 for 11 so far to begin the season. He had yesterday off with Doug Mirabelli catching Tim Wakefield. Popped up, foul ground. Blaylock over by the seats and the railing and can't reach any further as it lands into the photographer's well. Millwood in his second start of the season made his 4th opening day start on Monday. And that was against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Took the loss as the Angels defeated Texas 4-1. In fact, they swept that series, taking all 3 games from Texas. Lowell takes off and Varitek fouls it off to the left.
Red Sox playing a little hit and run on the 1-1 count. You know, Varitek's a guy that's also had good success against Millwood, 389 in his career. So we'll take another look at the hit and run play, but fouled off by Jason Varitek. So we saw David Ortiz get a base hit off a guy that he handles very well. Same for Varitek. See how his if he has any success tonight against a guy that he's done very well against.
Spins Varitek back out of the way, and the count evens now at 2-2.
Talk about cold weather. It's been all over Major League Baseball.
Oh, how about Cleveland yesterday?
And calling the game off 1 out away from being an official game.
You go through all of that, and then and they also lost their catcher, and Victor Martinez, among other things. It was a very tough day yesterday for the Indians, and Eric Wedge, who was not pleased at all. Out of the video that we saw, diving at first, a 2-time Gold Glover. Teixeira gets the out at second, but not on the return throw to first. But a nice diving stab by a very good defensive first baseman, Mark Teixeira.
Yeah, that's why you win Gold Gloves right there. A beautiful play diving to his right, and then from his knees, making the throw to second base. I thought maybe he'd just go to first base to get the sure out. Instead, he gets the lead runner, and they almost turn over the double play.
Well, this is a very good infield for the Texas Rangers, and it starts with this guy. 2 consecutive AL Gold Glove awards for Mark Teixeira. The first-round draft choice of the Texas Rangers. He was actually a first-round draft choice by the Red Sox also, but did not sign. They ended up going to Georgia Tech instead, and now a very good defensive first baseman, and offensively has been outstanding the last couple of years. Was an all-star the year before last. As Coco Crisp stands in. Coco 1 for 3 yesterday with a double and a walk, and is 2 for 13 so far to begin the season. Elevate that time and a swing and a miss. 92 and up from Millwood.
Well, these guys were teammates at one point with the Cleveland Indians. He gets Crisp to chase that fastball that's up and out of the strike zone. Chris, one of those guys who does not wear batting gloves, and I wouldn't even attempt that in a night like this.
Varitek's got himself a short lead at first as Chris pops it up foul back and out of play. Now, have you played in snowy conditions before over the course of your career, and is it hard to do as far as the flakes falling while you're trying to play?
I don't remember. Maybe in Toronto when they first opened up Exhibition Stadium, maybe there was some snow involved, but not much, but plenty of cold conditions, that's for sure.
On the chilly side tonight, but the breeze is really not a factor, as you mentioned. I think in Kansas City it was much colder. It had kind of that biting breeze.
I remember one year we actually got snowed out of the first series in Chicago, ended up going back to Florida for spring training.
and then went to Baltimore and finally played a game there. But a whole complete series was canned because of snow.
Hot shot on a hop. Young on the backhand to second. Throw to first, not in time. A nifty play by Michael Young at shortstop for the second out of the inning.
That's a beautiful play by Michael Young. You mentioned the fact that this is a very good defensive infield, and of course Young very, very good. That ball hit very hard and almost by Young. And look at the backhanded flip and a strike to his second baseman. And of course, with Christmas speed, they can't get over the double play, but that's not a routine play by any means. First of all, the catch, and then the flip to second base.
Now, not only are they gifted defensively, but they're also very young. They have a chance to be together for a long time if they all stay here. With Ian Kinsler, the normal second baseman, they average 27 years of age in this Texas Rangers infield. So 2 down, Crisp at first base, and Dustin Pedroia about to bat.
And you can run on Kevin Millwood. Crisp still looking for his first steal of the season.
Pedroia takes strike one from Millwood. Dustin was 0 for 3 here yesterday and made a miscue defensively for the first time this season. But off to a .385 start, 5 for 13.
Now Millwood right now using a little bit of a slide step toward home plate, which makes it more difficult for Chris to get a jump at first base.
Oh, what a big guy, listed at 6'4", 230 pounds. 32 years old, Kevin Millwood. First broke into the big leagues with the Atlanta Braves back in 1997. With the Braves from 97 through 2002. 2 seasons with Philadelphia, 1 with Cleveland, and now in his second season with the Texas Rangers as their ace. Away, and that's going to bring a visit from Gerald Laird, the catcher.
Well, the Red Sox tomorrow night will play that ESPN game, and plus Sunday night baseball. That'll give them about a 5 o'clock in the morning arrival back in Boston. Fortunately, a day off on Monday before opening day on Tuesday.
And it'll be Kurt Schilling here tomorrow night against Vicente Padilla. And Schilling will be looking to bounce back after a tough opening day in Kansas City. Padilla also had a tough day in his first outing. He's 0-1. We talked about losing first series or the first couple of games due to weather. The Double-A Red Sox in Portland, the Portland Sea Dogs, postponed their season opener for the 3rd consecutive day today. And Portland and Connecticut will try to play again tomorrow at Hadlock Field. Runner takes off, Pedroia swinging and missing, and it'll go into shallow center, but a stolen base for Coco Crisp, who remains at second base.
Well, he picked a pitch that time Millwood did use the leg kick. He'd been using the slide step and his control was off. And I think when Gerald Laird went to the mound, he probably said, look, let's not worry too much about Coco Crisp. Use your regular motion to home plate and throw strikes. He did, and then Crisp took off to second base for the steal.
So Crisp in scoring position with 2 down. And Pedroia takes ball 3. I guess, Jerry, they got a foot of snow in the Portland area on Thursday, making the field certainly unplayable. The Sea Dogs have been removing snow for the last 2 days and hope to finish the process at some point today, getting ready for their first game. They've been waiting a while for their first game.
Well, that's tough stuff. You get all fired up coming for out of spring training for opening day, and you get snowed out.
Down to first goes Pedroia, 2 walks in the inning. Boston Red Sox baseball in Nesson is brought to you by your Lincoln Mercury dealers, Olympia Sports, the official sporting goods retailer of the New England Sports Network, and by Dunkin' Donuts. So 2 down here in the second inning. Coco Crisp at second base, Dustin Pedroia at first, and it's to the top of the order for Julio Lugo.
I don't think there's any question that having Crisp at first base kind of threw Millwood off a little bit. He was slide stepping, throwing to first.
Double steal attempt here as it slapped foul off to the right.
A lot of times the man at second base will let the man at first base know, look, I'm going to go, so you make sure you go after me, because both guys were off at the exact same time. And it's probably not a sign put on at all by the third base coach. They're going on their own.
Lugo struck out his first time up against Kevin Millwood. Red Sox shut out here yesterday 2-0. They were shut out 8 times last year. On the ground up the middle and into center field, a base hit. Chris being waved around from second base, and the Red Sox take a 2-0 lead.
Both runs for the Red Sox coming with 2 outs in the inning. J.D. Drew back in the first inning with the bloop single with 2 outs. And now Lugo gets a fastball and drives it up the middle. Fastball middle in. And Coco Chris scores easily from second base. So Lugo picks up his second RBI of the season.
Well, the Red Sox with 2 outs and runners in scoring position so far, 4 for 18 coming into this game tonight, but to 2 hits in that situation tonight. So some timely hitting, something they certainly didn't get yesterday in the shutout. And you could tell, as you mentioned, Jerry Millwood certainly a little bit riled with Coco Crisp on base at first, and since then he's really not recovered.
Yeah, it seemed that way, that he was preoccupied with Crisp at first base, and it took him out of his the flow of the game. And eventually the stolen base, the walk to Pedroia, then Lugo with the base hit.
He's throwing hard. He just missed at 94 miles per hour to Kevin Youkilis. He gets his second look at Millwood. Youkilis with a single his first time up. The fewest number of home runs the Red Sox have had in the first 5 games of the season since 1993. I mentioned Youkilis has got the only one so far.
Well, I think one of the reasons for that, Don, you did a graphic in our open showing the temperatures a year ago compared to what they've played in this year, and I think that has something to do with it. There were a number of balls hit yesterday here that under normal conditions in this stadium might have been home runs.
There's ball 4. Millwood right now having some trouble. As you look at those numbers that we addressed off the top, Red Sox began last year here in Texas and great weather, 77, 76, and 82, and even going to Baltimore was fine. The first game of that series, 75 degrees, dropped down quite a bit, but they started off much better than what they've got this year between Kansas City and now a bit of a surprise at being this cold here in Texas. Well, 3 walks in the inning allowed by Kevin Millwood.
Very unusual. There was nobody out by the pool today at the hotel. I couldn't understand it. There's plenty of seats available.
Well, an opportunity here for the Red Sox to get to Kevin Millwood early.
Now this is his worst nightmare because he's kind of messed up this inning, Millwood has, and now he's got Ortiz, who's had great success against him with the bases loaded.
Chops it foul outside of first. David with 6 career grand slams. Millwood has allowed 4 individually of his career. Joy at third, Lugo at second, Youkilis at first with 2 down here in the second inning.
I don't like what I'm seeing from Lugo. He keeps grabbing that right elbow. He did it when he was on first base, and he continues to do it at second base. Hopefully he didn't hurt anything swinging the bat. Must that be the throwing arm of Julio Lugo.
On the ground, Millwood able to grab it Lucky for him as he flips to first to get David Ortiz. Wow. Red Sox do get a run, take a 2-0 lead after an inning and a half.
Is it possible to engineer desire? The ES from Lexus. At your Lexus dealer.
Single again. Will I still look eligible with gray hair? Is that all people will see? How do you make a clean break?
Just for Men stops gray from hiding who you are. Easy, with 5-minute target gray technology.
Dating again is easier than I thought. And you wonder, why did I ever put up with gray hair?
Let the real you come through. Stay in the game with Just for Men.
Just roll, roll, everybody roll, 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 everybody roll!
The only shoe with a removable wheel in the heel that lets you walk or run, and then by simply shifting your weight to your heels, you're rolling. Heelys, hang out or drop in. It's all about the wheel in the heel. Get it at Olympia Sports.
Heelys.
Well, it's time now for the Kawasaki moment. And, of course, Daisuke Matsuzaka making his first start in Kansas City, picking up his first Major League win and first win in a Red Sox uniform. This moment brought to you by Kawasaki. Let the good times roll.
Then we'll next see Daisuke on Wednesday against the Seattle Mariners. He'll be matched up against Ichiro and Horacio Ramirez to get the start for the Mariners. And that will be Ramirez's first start. Matsuzaka's second start. Mark Teixeira leads it off here in the bottom of the second inning.
Well, you know what? Who knows what that Seattle rotation is going to look like by the time they get out of Cleveland.
Absolutely true. They're going to be all backed up.
It could be Daisuke against Frosty the Snowman.
Teixeira, Sosa, and Blaylock to bat here in the second inning. You got to wonder a little bit about the schedule making. Seattle going to Cleveland and then Boston to begin their season. A perfect example is the Tampa Bay Devil Rays opening their season at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah,
they play in Florida in a dome.
That was brilliant.
Outside to Teixeira. And it's 2-2. On the ground sharply, but right at Euclid, who'll take it himself. Let's check in for the first time tonight with Tina Cervasio. Tina?
Don, there is no doubt that Julian Tavares is a bit unique, from his snake oil remedies to keep himself healthy to using baby oil and Bengay to stay warm tonight. He doesn't have your typical starting pitcher personality.
A lot of people think I'm crazy because I don't go to the training room to do things. Like, I make the job easy for the trainers. I do my own things, even in the weight room. That's not like they don't want to help me. It's just I do my own things, and I like to go out there, jogging, talk, be funny, keep me loose.
Julian talks to the press up until 5:30 on the day he starts. Not those other guys. Kurt Schilling is in a total zone 48 hours before he pitches. Talks to barely anybody. Josh Beckett has a routine in the dugout before he goes out. He sits all alone, has a couple towels folded a certain way. There's certain bottles of Gatorade set up the same way. Tim Wakefield emerges himself in a game of Sudoku. And we're still learning about Matsuzaka, but he clearly stretches for a long time on his own. And I saw him the other day eating his pregame meal, facing his locker all by himself. Julian, he's just all over the place.
That's a pretty good way to put it.
What do they call him? They call him Yo-Yo, right?
Yes. There is strike three. Sammy Sosa disagrees, but he takes with him the second strikeout for Tavares.
Well, right now, Yo-Yo's pitching pretty good. I mean, a 1-2-3 first. He picks up that outside corner with the fastball, the tailing fastball, and strikes out Sammy Sosa. See this ball come back to the corner, and Veritek doesn't even move the glove. Tina tonight looks like she should do a cover for a ski magazine. Very, very attractive clothing, and especially something we have not seen, the boots that she's wearing.
Oh, no. Jerry, I learned in Kansas City. I was going out and I bought a down jacket here in Texas.
How did you find a down jacket here in Texas is the question.
There is a coat store, so I did find a nice, inexpensive place to get this down jacket, which should come in handy. I heard next Wednesday at Fenway Park it's supposed to be cold and rainy.
Yeah, but I want to know about the boots.
The boots, I got them at the same store. They are warm. They're not necessarily my style, but they're warm. And believe me, warm. I heard from quite a few of the players that these are definitely not my style.
Well, Hank Blaylock batting here with 2 down. Tavares has retired the first 5.
My question would be there is what do the players know about style?
Right. That's a very good point. Well, Blaylock 3 for 14 so far in the young season, and he works the walk. Texas getting their first base runner of the night. Well, Julian Tavares moved to the starting rotation when the announcement came down that Jonathan Papelbon was headed back to his closer role. That came on March 22nd of spring training. It's the 86th career start tonight for Tavares. Overall at 31-28 with a 5.04 ERA. Most starts he ever made in one season. Made 28 starts for the Chicago Cubs back in 2001. He switched to a full-time relief guy in 2003, kind of flip-flopped over the years with 27 starts for the Florida Marlins in 2002, and very versatile guy, and certainly a guy who I guess you could classify as having a rubber arm, really. And as Terry Francona was quick to point out before the game tonight, he was having a tough time last year coming out of the bullpen. He was so valuable to the Red Sox because he did a lot of the mop-up roles, pitched multiple innings, sometimes when the Red Sox were down. And one of the games that Terry pointed to was that 19-inning affair against the Chicago White Sox right before the All-Star game last year, in which he came on and went 4 shutout innings. I mean, he is a very valuable guy, but certainly right now this seems to be a role that he has embraced and done very well in.
Well, I think down deep, I mean, everybody wants to be a starting pitcher.
On the ground and out of the reach of Lugo into left field. First hit of the night for the Rangers, and it belongs to Brad Wilkerson.
Now that's really how you have to attack a guy like Tavares. If you're a left-handed hitter, you got to think the other way against him, up the middle, opposite field, because that fastball is going to run away. It's a good example there. A lot of movement on that fastball, but Wilkerson taking it to the opposite field for the base hit. When I meant the players in fashion, I mean they know male fashion because a lot of them very snappy dresses, Manny in particular, David Ortiz, but I'm not sure how many are up to date on female fashion.
I understood what you meant.
We have a lot of snappy dresses on our club.
Nelson Cruz, who came on defensively yesterday in right field for Sammy Sosa, gets the start in right field tonight, with Sosa being used as the DH. Nelson Cruz coming to Texas as part of a 6-player trade just before the trade deadline last year. Ended up in 44 games last year with the Rangers and hit at just .223. Ball and a strike now to Nelson Cruz. Number 9 man and catcher Gerald Laird waiting on deck for the Rangers. And it's 1-2.
I wonder if in the scouting report for the Texas Rangers is if you're a runner at second base, if you look at this last pitch, a slider, that you better be aware that Tavares will chase you down from the mound to second base to try to tag you out.
I have never seen that before. No. We're not likely to ever see it again.
And he almost got him.
I just remember looking up and seeing him running full bore to second base.
I know.
And wondering where he was going, what he was
going to go out and tackle the runner at second. I think it was Brian Roberts of the Orioles, and Roberts looks up, and here comes Tavares, and he just got back to the bag.
I was going to say, as alarmed as we were, I can only imagine what he was thinking at second base. And here it is.
He's looking out toward the outfield. Here comes Tavares. Now he turns around. What is this guy doing?
It very nearly was out. As to the backhand goes Varitek to secure that pitch. 2-2 now to Nelson Cruz. Tavares got the first 2 outs quickly, but then a walk to Blaylock, a single to Wilkerson. Full count now to Nelson Cruz. John Farrell, the new Red Sox pitching coach. And Tim Wakefield there in the back, who cannot buy a run lately. Certainly last year he did not get much in the way of run support, and nothing new this year. Yesterday pitching very well. There's ball 4, and down to first base goes Cruz to load him up here for the Rangers.
Well, after 2 very easy outs for Tavares, and this really, you know, when you watch Julian pitch, it kind of happens this way to him. A couple of easy outs, then a walk, base hit, walk.
So the base is filled with Rangers with 2 down for Gerald Laird. Laird now the full-time catcher for the Texas Rangers. Rod Barajas doing the catching here over the last few years. Now a member of the Philadelphia Phillies. Laird at 27 years old, played 65 games last year. Lifts it out toward shallow right field. Drew on the move, and JD will get there in plenty of time to end the inning. Rangers leave them loaded. We played 2. Red Sox on top 2-0.
Came to spend some time together, reconnect.
Like when I met her, dice are hot.
Like the names they got.
Non-stop fun.
Hole in one.
What a thrill!
Hey, I just won.
We're closer than we can recall. Yeah, let's live for the wonder of it all. Foxwoods. Have you driven a fall?
For the past 30 years, we've been delivering F-Series trucks with unbelievable capabilities. Trucks that can haul over 24,000 pounds. Trucks that give you best-in-class payload. Trucks you depend on to get the job done. No wonder F-Series is the undisputed leader. Now get 0% financing for 60 months or up to $3,500 in total rebates.
My name is Hideki Okajima. Call me Okaji. I'm finally here, and I'm happy to be here.
Ground ball headed toward the middle. Picked up by Lugo. The throw to first. Perez picked it for the out.
We are welcoming Daisuke Matsuzaka to Boston and to the Red Sox family.
Top half of the 3rd inning. Manny gets it started as he rolls one foul over by the Red Sox dugout. Manny Ramirez, J.D. Drew, and Mike Lowell to bat in the inning. And Julian Tavares getting out of a big jam last inning. Bases loaded, 2 down. He got Gerald Laird to fly out to right field. So the Red Sox still on top 2-0.
Yeah, I get kind of concerned with the Rangers because, you know, they have yet to explode offensively, and this is a very good offensive team. Very quiet in their opening series at Anaheim. They did get 2 runs yesterday, but they have not been able to get that big hit in big innings and big run games.
Ron Washington getting his first major league victory as a manager yesterday. A big day for him as the newcomer here to the Texas Rangers, signing a 2-year deal with a series of options after that. You know, we talked a lot about Ron Washington yesterday and how long he's been in the game, and a very good coach under many managers. Was the third base coach for 10 seasons in Oakland. One thing we did not mention yesterday, of course, he lost his home in Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans and is rebuilding in New Orleans as we speak. He's not going to move, going to stay on the same land plot, but part of what was a devastating hurricane for so many. Ron Washington was one of those guys. As Manny strikes out for the first out here of the third.
This is probably the best curveball that Millwood has thrown tonight, maybe the best pitch he's thrown tonight. That's one that just completely made Manny buckle, which you very seldom see.
So 1 down, and it brings up J.D. Drew. Single to drive in a run in the first inning. Ron Washington trying to turn things around here in Texas after 3 straight third-place finishes. The Rangers have not finished better than 500 since better than third place, I should say, since 1999. That was also the last year there in the postseason. Will pop up to Blaylock at third, and there's 2 down. Let's check in with Tina Cervasio again. Tina.
Yesterday, Jerry pointed out that the Red Sox 1 through 9 in the lineup were all swinging at the first pitch. After the game, the manager explained the aggressiveness versus Robinson Tejeda.
We want to hit fastballs, and he threw a lot of fastballs. There wasn't a lot of deception there. We just didn't get on top of them.
And many of those first pitches from Tejeda were fastballs, but David Ortiz did say after the fact, maybe they should have been a little bit more patient.
Well, Jerry, you brought up that point yesterday, especially for a guy that has had control problems in the past. You really didn't give him a chance to have those control problems yesterday.
Well, when is the last time, Don, that you can remember a Red Sox team allowing a pitcher to go into 7 innings with 77 pitches?
Not often. Now towards right center field, and that'll drop in for a base hit. Red Sox usually a very patient hitting team. We've seen that over the last couple of years, but certainly not the case yesterday. Mike Lowell has been on twice tonight.
You were mentioning Ron Washington, and you mentioned the 10 years coaching at Oakland, and you know, of course, Oakland is not a club that bunts very much. Sacrifice. It was kind of funny yesterday as a manager. He put that sacrifice on late in the ball game. It's probably something a sign that he didn't have in Oakland at third base.
Well, he has been a tremendous coach over the years, working with the infielders in Oakland and the outfielders for that matter, but infield was certainly his specialty in Oakland. Worked with Nick Swisher trying to make him a first baseman, and Eric Chavez, who is the outstanding third baseman, Gold Glove winner, actually gave him the Gold Glove award and put it in his locker and signed it to him. Ron Washington tried to give it back to him, said it was a great gesture, but it was signed to him already. This one to right field, and Nelson Cruz is there to make the catch. The Red Sox are gone in the third. A 2-0 Boston lead after 2.5.
Free to move about the country.
So, you've been going out, huh? Big parties, music, pretty ladies. Son, we need to talk about protection.
Dad, I'm 26.
Yeah, I know. But you're never too grown up for your old man to give you one of these.
Oh, man. Dad, thanks.
Every Coors Light can has a protective liner to lock in that refreshing frost brewed taste.
You can never be too careful.
Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Free is fantastic, right? Like free coffee or free parking. But free checking? Usually you have to buy checks and keep minimum balances. At Sovereign Bank, free means free. And with our free interest checking, use any bank's ATMs free. You also get free checks, unlimited check writing, and free online banking with Bill Pay. It even pays interest.
So you won't just save money, you'll make it.
But Hazel May keep you up to speed on your favorite team with Granite City Electric Ultimate Red Sox Show. Sundays at 12:30. She'll recap the week in Red Sox baseball with a fast-paced top 9 countdown featuring the ultimate highlights, co-host features, and more. Catch the premiere of Granite City Electric's Ultimate Red Sox Show Sunday afternoon, April 15th at a special time, 5 o'clock.
Terry, we talked a lot about Ron Washington and his work, and we saw it a lot when he was in Oakland. We'd get to the ballpark around 2 o'clock and he'd be working with infielders a lot. Now, in your manager, sometimes that goes away and you let your coaches do that. But this is earlier today. He was working with Jerry Hairston Jr., who has certainly been in the major leagues a long time, but still coaching and working here as a manager. And one thing that he did this offseason, which I thought was interesting too, a lot of times when you take over as a manager, you will call everybody to say hello and your regulars and let them know a little bit about yourself, and you talk about this and that in spring training. But he actually visited physically every one of his regulars around the country, went on a tour to visit everybody. Of course, he's been with Oakland so long, did not know a lot of these guys with the Rangers. But it started on the West Coast for him. He went all the way across the country, back and forth twice actually, to meet with everybody and at least have dinner with his players before they arrived in spring training. And a long time coming, but I guess good things happen to good people, and happy for Ron Washington.
Well, if you've got a track record in the game as a manager, you want to get to know your players, but you probably necessarily don't have to travel around and have dinner with all of them. But when you're, a guy that's been coaching third base a long time, you get your first managerial experience. I think you want to go out and prove yourself and let these guys get to know you a little bit. So when you come to spring training, you're not a stranger to them. Guys who have been hired and fired, they have some type of reputation, and they've been around the game a little bit. Players seem to know them a little bit more. But when you're a new guy like Washington, you're trying to do all the right things, and so things go as smoothly in a transition as possible.
And his success rate was better than Joe Kerrigan's, who tried to go visit Manny, and Manny wouldn't come to the door.
Well, I don't think Manny answered the door for Ron either. I mean, you never know who's out there, right?
Right.
I mean, why open the door? I mean. I was surprised. That had to be hilarious when Kerrigan was trying to.
Hello.
Coming over the speaker, who's out there? This is Joe Kerrigan, the manager.
Kerrigan. Hey, Manny, how you doing?
See you later. I'm not talking. Take your act somewhere else. I'll see you in spring training.
Manny, no here. 2-2 to Kenny Lofton with Jerry Hairston and then Michael Young to bat in the third. On the ground up the middle, and ranging to his left is Lugo. The throw, one hop, nicely picked in the backhand by Youkilis.
Very, very nice by Lugo and Youkilis at first base. First of all, the range shown by Lugo to get there, and now watch this off-balance throw. It's going to come up short, but Youkilis at the other end will pick it out of the dirt. Not a tough pick because it's close to Youkilis. Those are probably the most easiest for a first baseman, but a very nice play by Lugo and Youkilis. Surprised Kerrigan wasn't arrested. Stalking.
There's a strange man on my property.
He's walking around looking through the pool area, and I'm not letting him in. Was that was the winter after Joe had taken over as manager? It was because it was kind of a rocky relationship between Manny and Joe,
say the least.
We heard some of that on one of the buses very late in the season that year, and then of course Joe wanted to make amends and go see Manny, but Manny would have none of it.
And of course Joe fired early in spring training that year. Jerry Hairston Jr. grounded out to first base his first time up, getting his second look at Julian Tavares. Well, Hairston coming over from the Chicago Cubs in a deal for Phil Nevin, made last year on May 31st. Played in 63 games after the trade, hitting at .205 with 6 RBIs. Came into the game yesterday defensively in center field for Kenny Lofton, who left the game with a bit of a knee problem, but apparently Lofton's all right because he's back in the starting lineup tonight and leading off.
Of course, Hairston replaced over in Baltimore by Brian Roberts. Hairston playing second base there for a few years.
Outside, and a full count now to Jerry Hairston. Hairston was the leadoff hitter for a while for Mike Hargrove at the time with the Orioles. Third generation major leaguer. As this one grounded foul.
Play the new Play the new $10 Red Sox instant ticket from the Mass State Lottery. There's over 600,000 prizes from $100 to $1,000. And amazing Red Sox prizes, including tickets to every Red Sox Yankees game at Fenway Park for the next 10 years. For more info, visit masslottery.com. Please play responsibly.
Mentioned Hairston going from the Orioles to the Cubs in that deal. Sammy Sosa went from the Cubs to the Orioles, and now they're both members of the Texas Rangers. Deal took place in January of 2005. We'll take ball 4, head down to first base. That's the third walk given up by Julian Tavares. We're here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington, Texas. Don Orsillo, Jerry Remy, and Tina Cervasio bringing you Boston Red Sox baseball in high definition on NESN. Well, the Red Sox getting single runs in the first and second innings. As J.D. Drew with an RBI single in the first scored Kevin Youkilis. Red Sox would get their second run in the second inning on a single by Julio Lugo. That scored Coco Crisp, and it's a 2-0 Boston advantage. Julian Tavarez able to work out of a jam in the bottom of the second when Texas had the bases loaded. Now there's a line drive opposite field into right field. Michael Young on to third goes Hairston. Trouble down in the corner. And finally the throw comes out, but a run in. And Young now still coming around. Will score perhaps. Yes, 2 runs in, and it's tied at 2. All kinds of problems, and all the way around comes Michael Young.
Yeah, that's a bit of an ugly play there by the Red Sox. So first of all, the ball down the right field line, and we don't have sight of it from the booth, but apparently was knocked around by J.D. Drew, and it took an awful long time to come out of that corner. We'll get a good look on this replay what happens. It gets by J.D. Drew, then by the time he chases it down, they're going to wave the 1-run home, and Michael Young just continues around and slides around the tag of Veritek as the throw comes in by all the cutoff men.
They missed 2 of them.
Well, what a job by Young as he just kind of put the hand and arm over the sweeping tag of Jason Veritek.
Well, that one up the line. Julian was going to cover home. Veritek had to go too far, but it's in, and just like that, Texas ties the game 2-2.
I wonder if that might not be an RBI for Young. That might be just a base hit and an error that allows 2 runs to come across, because I don't think they would have scored that first run, Hairston, if it comes up clean.
No, I agree. I think it would have been second and third, although it doesn't matter what we think, because they've given him an RBI, a double, an RBI, and an error charge to Drew.
I mean, in my mind, with Hairston at first base, I don't think he scores if J.D. comes up with that ball in the corner. He quickly gets that back in, and it's probably a second and third at the most.
Teixeira lines it into left field. And a 1-out single for Mark Teixeira.
Let's take one more look at that play down the line, and we'll see where Hairston is and where J.D. Drew is when that ball gets out there. Now Hairston rounding second base, and there's where the ball gets by him. So I think if he comes up clean with that, they're not going to be able to score Hairston. So in my opinion, it should not have been an RBI. It doesn't matter. It's a 2-2 ball game. And a beautiful slide at the end by Michael Young. Is all Veritek could do is go out and try to chase the ball down and get back to home plate. He just put his hand and arm right over the sweeping tag.
Here is Sammy Sosa, who struck out looking his first time up. This one gets away, did not hit the bat, and up to second base goes Teixeira. Sammy kind of a check swing and just gets by Veritek, and all of a sudden into scoring position goes Teixeira.
Fastball that's not down, it's upstairs and right over the top of the webbing of the glove of Jason Veritek. So this has not been a pretty inning. The only pretty thing was the play by Lugo.
Well, and rising, they charge Veritek with a pass ball. And it gets Teixeira to second base, still with one out. Now tied 2-2. I mentioned it yesterday. As far as size goes, Sammy Sosa looking bigger than he did when he was in a Baltimore Orioles uniform. Certainly not as big as he once was in a Chicago Cubs uniform. He needs 12 home runs for 600 in his career. Ranks 5th all-time in home runs, 2nd among active players, of course, only behind Barry Bonds.
One of his career home runs coming against Julian Tavares.
Last home run for him came August 4th of 2005 as a member of the Baltimore Orioles. And that was hit at Angel Stadium. Did not play all of last year. Takes a 3-0 pitch for a strike from Tavarez. Mike Blaylock waits on deck. On the ground, off the glove of Youkilis, diving into foul ground it goes. Teixeira will stop at third as Sosa reaches at first. On the base hit, good bid by Youkilis, but it goes off the glove and into foul ground.
Yeah, he saves a run just by knocking that ball down, and that was not easy one to knock down because that was a rocket by Sammy Sosa. So things unraveling very quickly here for Julian Tavares and the Red Sox. What a play by Youkilis just to get a glove on it, knock it down, and save a run. At least he keeps a double play in order and gives the Red Sox a chance to get out of the inning.
John Farrell out to talk to Tavares. They had a 1-2-3 first, got out of a bases loaded, 2 outs jam in the second. And now no fault of his own in some instances with an error in the inning and some strange things going on here. All of a sudden it's tied 2-2 and he's in a jam, first and third.
Fenway Park underwent massive renovation during the offseason, and the Red Sox turned to FW Webb, their official plumbing and heating supplier, for help. Visit FWWebb.com and learn more about how they can help you too. FW Webb, we've got it.
57 pitches deep as Tavares just after 2 1/3 innings. Teixeira at third, Sammy Sosa at first, and here's Hank Blaylock. Doesn't waste any time as he sends one foul down the left field line, back and out of play.
Now that's one you want to jump on there. That's a high sinker, and high sinkers usually go a long way. Blaylock fouling it off. Trying to get the ball down to get a ground ball double play, but that ball stayed up. And Blaylock would like to have that one back.
Blaylock hitting at .337 with runners in scoring position a season ago. As he reaches after this one and is down 0-2. Well, 6 consecutive openers for Blaylock on the Major League roster and at third base for Texas. He joins Buddy Bell, who we just saw in Kansas City, who did it 7 times, and Steve Buechele, who's a starter 6 consecutive seasons at third base for the Texas Rangers. An 0-2 to Blaylock. Dropped in there for strike 3. Third strikeout for Tavares. Couldn't have come at a better time. 2 down.
Now they saw all his pitches in that at bat. A high fastball, a changeup, and now the breaking ball to put him away. And I think that's the last pitch Blaylock was expecting there.
So he freezes Blaylock, and there's 2 down here in the third inning for Brad Wilkerson, who singled to left field his first time up. Last year, Wilkerson started the year as the leadoff hitter for Buck Showalter, and that changed quickly. He had a lot of strikeouts. Ended up striking out 116 times in 95 games last year. And some tough numbers in his first season, hitting at .222 with Texas. Of course, injured at the end of the year and spending the remaining of the season on the DL the last month with a shoulder injury. To share at third, Sosa around at first with 2 down. The strike.
Well, ever since the first and third, it's been nothing but strikes from Julian Tavarez.
Mentioned the shoulder for Wilkerson. Ended up having season-ending surgery on that right shoulder on August 22nd, and then that was the end of the season for him. Now back for his second year. He came over as part of the Soriano deal from the Nationals.
Funny, lefty just struck out at a breaking ball on a 0-2 count. The same situation to Wilkerson. He's sitting on deck watching what they did to Blaylock. He didn't get the breaking ball. He got a changeup that was out of the zone.
Outside, and it's 2-2. On deck, Nelson Cruz, as Tavares starts to work towards the bottom of this Texas Rangers order. To share at third, Sosa at first, 2 runs already in. Scooped up by Veritek. It's a full count now.
And 3-2 count. Sosa off at first base. Makes it a little bit more difficult for the infielders. Instead of getting that force at second, they have to go across to Diamond on a ground ball.
Too much time, and Wilkerson asks for time and backs out. Ball 4, he walks him. There's the 4th walk given up by Tavares, 2nd of the inning. And this will load him up for the 2nd straight inning for the Rangers. Tavares got out of the bases loaded situation with 2 down last inning. He now has to deal with Nelson Cruz, who he walked last inning.
And he had Wilkerson, no balls, 2 strikes, and just couldn't put him away. Well, this is the time. Red Sox tickets are on sale now, and more than 2.5 million have already been sold. That means they are going fast, but they're still available. Don't get shut out. Call 877-RED-SOX-9 or visit redsox.com.
The 8th man to bat in the inning is Nelson Cruz. The bases loaded here, filled with Rangers. Not had a great deal of experience in bases loaded situations, but does have a grand slam. And 2 at bats. Line to left. Ramirez coming in and plays it on a hop. One run is in. Here comes Sammy from second base. He's in, and the Rangers take a 4-2 lead.
Well, Cruz jumps on that first pitch, and it looked like Manny was going to charge the ball and try to make a play on it. Then he just stops and plays it on one hop. Sinking line drive, and of course the 2 runs come across. So been a lot of different things in this inning. Lack of control, an error, some base hits. And this is a little bit more of the offense you kind of expected from the Texas Rangers.
Well, you said it earlier, they're looking to break out. They've not had that yet. They were swept by the Angels in the first series of the year. Just a couple of runs yesterday. Had only 3 hits, but able to come away with a victory against the Red Sox yesterday. Had fine starting pitching and won 2-0. But a 4-run third inning so far. 9th man to bat in the inning is Gerald Laird.
I can't quibble with the way Ramirez played that ball in left field. You know, if it's late in the game and you're involved in a tie ball game and you only got maybe 1 at bat left, you may try to make a dive for that and try to catch it. At this stage of the game, you don't want this ball getting by you. If it gets by you, it's at least 1 more run that's going to come in.
Laird pops it up. Down the first base line, Youkilis ranging into foul ground makes the catch that ends the inning. But a 4-run inning at that has the Rangers on top 4-2. Time for a Sports Desk update with Catherine Tappan.
Don, thank you. Hi, everybody. Tonight on Sports Desk, presented by FW Webb, home of Frank Webb's Bat Centers, the BC Eagles are skating for a national championship against Michigan State. A full day recap at the Masters, including Tigers' push for the lead and the Bruins season finale against Ottawa. Join me tonight right after Red Sox coverage. Time now for a quick break.
I can't believe that Tony had her whacked.
Getting whacked, it's so final.
I'm having a Sopranos party.
Yeah, definitely. You don't watch The Sopranos. I do now.
Know the shows you're supposed to know. Get HBO on demand.
That was the last episode.
Yeah, that was better than episode 52.
And now, life without Roadrunner.
Lousy computer.
I heard that.
Can you speed it up? I want to download my family videos.
Not with dial-up. Look, just because your AOL is free doesn't mean it's fast. You need to get Roadrunner.
No Roadrunner, no videos?
Not even opening credits.
Oh.
Ow, ow, ow. Kidding, I'm fine.
Call 1-800-833-2253 to get special savings on Roadrunner High-Speed Online. Time Warner Cable, the power of you.
Welcome to Burger Bonanza. Can I take your order?
Yeah, I'd like a double bacon cheeseburger, large fries, an apple pie, and a milkshake to go.
The new Subway Fresh Fit meals fit into the American Heart Association's approach to a healthy lifestyle. Subway, eat fresh.
We were in an emergency situation. We don't have extra. We have a little bit of water and a little bit of food. A meeting place, no.
No. For the family to meet?
No.
4-2, Texas on top of the 4th inning. Hey fans, Coors Light is giving you a forum to be heard. Look for our camera crews on your way into Fenway Park next week. And during the month of April, don't miss your chance to speak out. Coors Light, refresh your inner fan. Texas scores 4 times in the bottom of the 3rd and races what was a 2-run deficit. Coco Crisp, Dustin Pedroia, and Julio Lugo to bat in the inning. A bit of a wait for Kevin Millwood, as Texas sent 9 men to the plate and scored 4 times. He's up to 61 pitches as he works here in the 4th inning. Chris Pedroia and Lugo to face Millwood here in the top half of the 4th inning. (16-12) in his first year in Texas was Millwood with a 4.52 ERA. He's tied for the American League lead in starts. And here to shallow left, Brad Wilkerson in. And he puts it away for out number 1.
Well, tomorrow night on Charlie Moore Outdoors, Matt Fish hooks up with the only person on the planet who might be crazier than him, rock and roll legend Ted Nugent, for a new adventure there at Ted's Ranch in Crawford, Texas, for fishing, shooting, and of course some classic rock and roll. Hang on for a wild ride tomorrow night at 8 on Charlie Moore Outdoors. Yeah,
Ted's a little wacky.
Yeah, Ted and Charlie, that should be a heck of a matchup. Crawford, that's where the president has a place.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And down for Dustin Pedroia.
Of course, President Bush at one time the owner of the Texas Rangers.
Now, was he around here very much when he was the owner? Was he present?
Yeah. Matter of fact, we had him on one night as a guest.
Did you think then that there were big things for W at that point? Did you realize he was going to be a president then?
Yeah, he told me. I couldn't say anything for a number of years, but he told me that he was going to be president. It's tough to keep that secret, Don.
You're like a vault, though, with secrets. I mean, you're pretty much like a vault.
Yeah.
At least 5-10 minutes before you tell everybody.
Many people have called my head a vault. But he's a big baseball fan and still a huge Texas Ranger fan.
Millwood walked Dustin Pedroia last time he faced him in the 2nd inning.
Now the Elder Bush gets our games up in Kennebunkport in the summer, so he must be a big Red Sox fan, you know. And a Houston Astro fan because that's where his hometown is in Houston.
So last year he was at Fenway. I'm trying to remember. He's been there a bunch of times. I know. Outside and a full count now to Pedroia. Top of the order, Julio Lugo waiting on deck. Red Sox batting here in the top half of the 4th inning. On the ground, Young goes to the backhand. And throwing plenty of time to get Pedroia 2 down.
Michael Young going to the backhand. This infield grass here at the ballpark in Arlington, or whatever it's called now, is very short. You know, for a few years they had it thick in the infield, and I guess the A-Rod wanted it that way when he played down here, but they have cut it a little bit shorter to make this infield quicker. I think as an infield you always like thicker grass because you feel like you have more range, but on the quick surface it's better for hitters.
We talked about it before the game, all different kinds of grass in the infield, that area in front of home plate. Sometimes you get a lot of water there, sometimes you don't, sometimes it's harder than others. It's just up to the different fields and different teams what they want to do. Down the lines also very different here. That chalk almost to the grass, just a little bit of room between the chalk line and the grass.
That's kind of a bunter's dream right there, to have that grass very close to the foul line.
I don't understand why that's not uniform everywhere.
Yeah, that's been bothering you all day.
It's really bothering me that you have that choice. I mean, the field is supposed to be the field, and especially when you come into the lines.
Well, the field is a field. I mean,
you're right about that.
I mean, you know,
you make a great point.
Yeah, the field is the field, and the fact is, what about artificial surface? You see?
Yeah, but I think when it comes to the lines, you shouldn't mess with the lines. There should be a certain distance between the line and where the grass starts, and that should be uniform. Very concerned about that. Lugo swings and misses to strike out. 3rd K for Millwood. Red Sox down in order.
Hey, boss. Do we have Aflac?
Nah, we have something else.
But if you're hurt and miss work, does it pay cash like Aflac does?
Nah.
Or let you spend it any way you want, like for gas and groceries?
Nah.
Or help with everyday bills like Aflac does?
Nah.
There's only one Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Nah.
Mr. Francona, how does the third base coach decide whether to do this or this?
He has a number of things to consider, and he only has a split second to consider those. For example, the speed of his own base runner, the strength of the outfielder's arm, how many outs there are in the inning, the score of the game, and even the inning of the game. It's not an easy split-second decision.
Show me the sign to go to Sullivan Tire. We're always here to get you there.
You own your own business and wear all the hats. But when was the last time you got a little recognition? Well, here's something just for you. Sovereign Business Owner Banking. You can get free business checking, 300 free monthly transactions, and no minimum balance. Plus, your first order of checks free. We'll even add the rewards of our best personal checking account free. Sovereign Business Owner Banking.
Does that work for you?
For the past 30 years, we've been delivering F-Series trucks with unbelievable capabilities. Trucks that can haul over 24,000 pounds. Trucks that give you best-in-class payload. Trucks you depend on to get the job done. No wonder F-Series is the undisputed leader. Now get 0% financing for 60 months or up to $3,500 in total rebates.
Bottom of the fourth inning and the top of the Texas order leading it off. Kenny Lofton with the Rangers on top 4-2. Lofton led off last inning. He grounded out to shortstop. He is 0 for 2 in the game tonight. Kenny Lofton now 601 career stolen bases. He stole 2 on opening day. Ranked 17th on the all-time list, and the active major league leader as this one set foul.
You know, talking last inning, Don, about how you don't like the fact that the grass comes to the line. You know, teams certainly cater to their fields to help their clubs. Team with a lot of sinker ball pitches will make it soft in front of home plate to help their infielders. Guys that can run, they'll make a very hard surface around first base so they can get a good jump. There's a lot of things that teams do to tailor their field to their team's needs.
Now, as a accomplished bunter as you were, this would be very good for you. This grass close to the line, yes?
That'd be very good. And also what would be good.
Down to first on the hop. Euclid has been busy. He handles out number 1.
Actually, we got to go to Tina Sebastian
right,
now. We'll finish that thought later. Tina?
All right, Don, before the game today at around 3:30, someone said it was snowing outside. Immediately, Alex Cora and first base coach Luis Alicea sprinted outside. He said, Alex, what are you doing? He said, when you're from the islands, you want to see snow as often as you can. But Alex Cora has actually played in some pretty bad snow before.
Opening day in AA, we're in the Texas League. I was playing for San Antonio. We were in Wichita, Kansas. And the first day was snow out. You know, we were running like little kids outside. Paulo Duca was in that team, and then the next day we played a doubleheader, and it was, you know, actually it was like in Cleveland yesterday. It was pretty tough.
And he was running like a little kid today to see this snow. Cora will get the start tomorrow. Terry Francona said the plan is to have him play second base. And then next week versus Seattle, there's some lefties there. Their starting rotation's kind of messed up a little bit because of games that have been canceled for the Mariners. But you may start seeing Francona work in Willie Mopena and Eric Hinsky.
Yeah, that is a tough thing, Tina. I mean, you're looking at this right now. You've got these games. You had a couple off days at the end of, one before the season started, one after the season started. Tough to get a lot of these guys in, and they get flat awfully quick. I mean, a lot of these guys have not played. They've taken a lot of batting practice. Guys like Hinsky. We've seen Willie Mopena for 2 at bats. I mean, I know Terry at some point he's got to filter these guys in and keep them fresh.
Yeah, it's always tough early in the season because of weather conditions. Playing time is tough because your regulars obviously are not tired, and You know, it takes a while to get into the flow of the season, couple weeks.
Hairston, the batter, walked his last time up. This time sends one through the left side. Hairston on for the second time, a 1-out single here in the 4th.
By the way, if you ever catch me running to see a snowflake, remove me from my position. I've seen enough snow. Hairston been on base twice, a walk last time in that big 4-run inning. Now the base hit with 1 out here in the 4th inning.
Here comes Michael Young. With a double and knocked in a run. Ended up coming all the way around. And the error on the throw by J.D. Drew. This one sent foul off to the right. The league leaders are brought to you by Olympia Sports. This guy always near the top when it comes to the batting title conversation, and it's because of all the hits that he's had. 2003 through 2007, a total of 861. Only Ichiro has had more hits in the same time span. Juan Pierre, Miguel Tejada, and Albert Pujols. That's some pretty good company right there for Michael Young. And one of the reasons that the Rangers have locked him up for the next 7 seasons. He sends a fly ball to right, where J.D. Drew moves towards the line. 2 down.
Fans, welcome back the baseball season with a visit to the Boston Globe store. Online, you'll find new Dice Game products, Red Sox memorabilia, apparel, and more. Shop online, shop anytime. Call 888-665-2667. No doubt we were talking about the grass going up to the line. The only thing that makes it better is if the line is lifted and you have like a gully between the grass and the foul line. So when you bunt,
keep it fair.
It's like throwing in a bowling ball in a gutter, and it can't go foul. I played on fields like that.
I saw a shot of the stands here, and certainly a smaller crowd today, which you would imagine after opening day, but another huge crowd here yesterday. In fact, the 2 largest crowds in Rangers ballpark history in Arlington have seen the Rangers and Red Sox. Yesterday was 51,548. It was second only to the 51,573 who watched last year's opening day between the Red Sox and Texas Rangers. So all kinds of Red Sox fans and Rangers fans, and whoever's here tonight is on the chilly side. Mark to share the batter. Was it foul? And it's 2-1. Well, Tavares throwing a lot of pitches last inning. The pitching line is brought to you by Nissan. And he's up to 93 pitches through 3 2/3.
And there is action down in the Red Sox bullpen. Probably the last inning for Tavarez with that pitch count that high. It looks like Javier Lopez loosening for the Red Sox.
There's Javier Lopez. Joey Hairston at first base, 2 down here in the 4th inning.
Tavares taking a long time. Teixeira stepping out. Red Sox in that shift with Teixeira at the plate. Pedroia about 20 feet back in the outfield grass.
There's ball 4, and it's the 5th walk given up now by Tavares. So first and second with 2 down, and Sammy Sosa coming up. Sammy Sosa returning to the Texas Rangers. He's traded away by the Rangers back in 1989 to Chicago, but back here for the first time since '89 in a Rangers uniform. In there for a strike over the inside corner. A look back by Sosa to Tim McClellan. On the ground by the mound, Pedroia will flip to second base for the force out that concludes the 4th inning. After 4, Texas on top 4-2.
It's a whole new season and a whole new ball game. Major League Baseball 2K7 from 2K Sports. Rated everyone.
Do you ever wonder why Bob's Discount Furniture keeps growing and growing? Look no farther than this piece. The comfort is astounding.
Easy to clean microfiber combined with Durahide for style and comfort.
A place for your snacks, a place to put your remote so your kids don't get it. This is perfect for watching TV, only $7.99. At that price, you can get 2 of them for your home theater. Just get down to Bob's Discount Furniture now.
The perfect example of beauty, quality, and above all, value. That's what Bob's Discount Furniture is all about.
Hi, I'm Keith Hernandez.
And I'm Walt Clyde Frazier.
What a marvelous night for the action.
Let's go to the play-by-play.
Oh, there's Mr. Graybeard approaching Miss Hottie. Oh, no.
Rejected.
Clyde, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, no play for Mr. Gray. Get that man our Just for Men Brush-In Color Gel.
It's specially formulated to penetrate coarse facial hair and gets rid of gray in 5 easy minutes.
Home run. Another win with Just for Men.
It's a whole new season and a whole new ball game. Major League Baseball 2K7 from 2K Sports. Rated everyone.
Stay tuned after the game for WB Mason's Extra Innings and Granite City Electric's Extra Innings Extra with Tom Caron and Jim Rice. They'll bring you all the reaction to Game 2 of this series, including Tina Sabacio's one-on-one with the manager and Terry's take. Plus highlights from the Bronx as the Orioles and the Yankees faced off this afternoon. It's all right after the game in high definition on Nesson.
Think that says, hey, Remdog and Don?
It may.
I don't think so. They had it all set up there, and I don't think that's what it said. But here's hoping. 4-2 as we head to the 5th inning.
I must say that because that's the only way they get on.
That's right. The magic words. Euclid, Ortiz, and Ramirez to face Kevin Millwood. He has a 2-run lead as he works into the 5th. Millwood's thrown 76 pitches. And Euclid has been aboard twice tonight, a single in the 1st and a walk in the 2nd. Well, yesterday, the first time the Red Sox have been shut out in Arlington since a 6-0 defeat back in 1999. And in both cases, Tim Wakefield was the starting pitcher yesterday and back in 1999 when they were shut out last by these Texas Rangers. Red Sox have actually won 12 of the last 18 games from Texas and 6 of the last 9 meetings here at Rangers Ballpark. Softly lined back a second and back there to make the running catch. No, is Hairston just out of his reach as he headed out to right and just over the outstretched glove, and Euclid aboard to begin things in the 5th.
He made that a lot closer than I thought he was going to because like left the bat. He had no chance of making a play, but just up over the glove and drops in for the base hit for Euclid. So on base 3 times, Kevin Euclid tonight. 2 hits and a walk.
Lead runner on for the 2nd time in 5 innings tonight, and here's David Ortiz. This player profile brought to you by Sovereign Bank, the official bank of the Red Sox cable network. And here at Rangers Ballpark, 8 home runs in 29 games for David Ortiz, 286. After the day game yesterday, back-to-back night games tonight and tomorrow night. Swing and a miss, and Big Papi down 0-2.
Change up that time from Millwood. Fastball followed by changeup to quickly get ahead of Ortiz. 0-2. That's how he got him last time for that ground ball right back to Millwood. That was also on a changeup. Tries it again but misses.
Ortiz was down 0-2, evens up now at 2-2 with Youkilis at first base. Nobody out here in the 5th.
Another changeup.
To first base, Teixeira goes to second for one. The relay throw is in time. Millwood Teixeira just got the foot down. Had to elevate to get it, but comes down just ahead of the arrival of Ortiz. And the Rangers turn the double play.
Now, even though Michael Young didn't rush at shortstop, he still let go a high throw to first base, and Teixeira has to come up off the bag and then go back to the bag to get the out. Comes off, foot back down before Ortiz gets there. You see there that Young almost throwing over the head of Kevin Youkilis caused him to throw that ball high. One way to change that, and that's drop down to the side. That'll make the runner slide a little bit earlier down to that second base bag.
So 2 down now for Manny, who's 0 for 2. Reached on a fielder's choice in the first, then struck out looking in the third. Remarkably consistent. He's recorded at least 30 home runs and 100 RBIs in each of the last 9 seasons. 1998 through last year, 2006. And the second longest such streak in Major League history. And again, 30 home runs shy of 500 in his Major League career. To short. Michael Young sidearm to first, and the Red Sox retired in the 5th. Halfway through this one, Texas on top 4-2.
What does it take to earn AMCI's best-in-class certification for acceleration? Raw horsepower. The all-new, full-size Toyota Tundra. The truck that's changing it all.
Just roll, roll, everybody roll, 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 everybody roll!
The only shoe with a removable wheel in the heel that lets you walk or run, and then by simply shifting your weight to your heels, you're rolling. Heelys, hang out or drop in. It's all about the wheel in the heel. Get it at Olympia Sports.
Heelys.
You've never driven anything like it. The Nissan Murano. Seamless, efficient acceleration from its CVT transmission. You've never seen anything like it. SUV versatility, 5-star safety rating in one beautiful package. Lease the Nissan Murano for just $299 a month. Feel it, see it, believe it. at your Nissan dealer now.
Tuesday night, Covidien proudly presents the 2007 Boston Red Sox Welcome Home Dinner at the new Boston Convention and Exhibition Center. The event is completely sold out, but tune in to Nesson Thursday night at 8 to see members of the 2007 Red Sox, the impossible dream team of 1967, and enjoy the music of Lone Star. All proceeds benefit the Red Sox Foundation. That's Thursday night at 8 as Covidien presents the 2007 Boston Red Sox Welcome Home Dinner. We'd like to welcome our friends from Covidien.
4-2, Texas on top as we head to the bottom of the fifth. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by your local Ford store. Every journey begins with a bold move. Start your journey today by visiting your local Ford stores. Javier Lopez.
Third appearance of the season for Lopez, an inning and 2/3 total, 1 hit, no runs. He has not walked anybody, not struck anybody out. Last time out for Lopez on the 4th against KC, 2/3 of an inning in that game. Sleeveless tonight in a very cold night here in Arlington, Texas.
Hank Blaylock leads it off. Blaylock walked in the second, struck out looking in the third. You weren't crazy about layers either, were you? Kind of felt constricted.
Yeah, but I prefer to wear the layers than be cold. That's true, though. It is uncomfortable. I think some of the modern clothing that the players have, especially the undergarments they have under the uniform now, are much warmer and much lighter than the junk that we had when we played.
Basic long johns.
Basic long johns, and you really felt restricted. You know, you had a couple of baseball undershirts on and anything to stay warm.
Towards right center field, crisp on the run back at the track, and it's off the wall. Nasty ricochet. J.D. Drew will run it down, and continuing to run is Blaylock for a third, and he'll get there easily standing. The triple for Hank Blaylock. And there are all kinds of nooks and crannies out there in right center and left center. This was a nasty ricochet off the wall.
First hit that Lopez has given up to a left-hander. He left that ball inside, and when you throw from the side like Lopez does, you don't want to leave the ball inside the left-handed hitters. Bouncing off the bottom of the wall, and J.D. Drew hustling over to chase it down, but it's going to be that leadoff triple for Blaylock.
Well, he had 3 of them last year. He's got his first of this season. And now with the infield in all the way around, Brad Wilkerson takes a strike.
The natural tendency for a lefty against a sidearm left-handed pitcher is to let that front shoulder fly a little bit, open it up. When you leave the ball inside, then that becomes a nice pitch to hit. One more look at the pitch to Blaylock, and you'll see the location of this ball. It kind of stays middle in, and he's able to get the good part of the bat on the ball and drive it a long way.
Tried to hold up. And it's now 1-2. Brad Wilkerson. A single and a walk for Wilkerson. He's been on twice. Julian Tavares tonight going 4 innings. We have 6 hits and 4 runs. He walked 5 and struck out 3. And through 87 pitches in his outing tonight. On the hook with the Red Sox trailing 4-2. Wilkerson fouls it off.
Infield in for the Red Sox. I doubt with nobody out that they would be playing contact in this situation. And that's why you don't see Pedroia or Lugo way out on the grass. They're about a good 5 to 7 feet back of that grass line.
On the ground foul outside of first base. Well, the net comes in handy down the line.
Yeah, both lines. There's guys that have nets here, first base and third base line. They must be season ticket holders for a long time because we've seen that for a number of years here in Arlington. Personally, I think that's cheating. Big old net.
Tech trying to frame it off the outside edge, but it is that the other side. There's the other gentleman with the net.
Pretty sharp looking hat.
Yeah, he's got himself a good Texas lid.
Does look like Kenny Rogers.
To first base. Nicholas will tag the bag. No advance for Blaylock. Let's send it back to Boston and Tom Caron.
Thanks, Don. It's our New England Toyota dealer game break. The NCAA Hockey Championship in St. Louis. BC, Michigan State tied. 19 seconds left. Tim Kennedy gets it to Justin Abdelkader. The game-winning goal for Michigan State and a stunning end to the Boston College season. They had won 13 straight. They lose the national championship for the second straight year. Guys?
All right, Tom. Well, unfortunate news there. We send our best along to Jerry, an outstanding coach of the Boston College Eagles, and a great run, but a disappointing end of the season for the Eagles. Nelson Cruz, the batter, with one out, and Hank Blaylock at third base. Fouled off down the right field line and evens up at 1-1.
Of course, with the one out, the chance of a contact play becomes more into play than with nobody out, and Pedroia comes in a little bit closer to the grass along with Lugo.
High chopper. Lowell looks the runner back and then fires across. Tough throw. And Youkilis does do a little dance there with the footwork to get the foot onto the bag in time to get Cruz.
Now this throw from Mike Lowell is going to sail a little bit in toward the runner as he checks that runner at third base. And Youkilis, I think like he had the bag.
Yeah.
But wasn't quite sure he did and went back to get it again just in case. I think that was just not dancing with the stars footwork there by Kevin Youkilis. I think he had the out.
Gerald Laird, the batter. There's fly to right and fouled out to first. He's 0 for 2.
The cold affects everything. You know, you don't like hitting in it. I mean, nobody likes playing in it. And throwing is another issue. Kyle Snyder loosening in that Red Sox bullpen. But when you get a ground ball in cold temperatures like this, it's awfully hard to get a grip on a baseball. Ball just feels slippery.
And Lopez falling behind 3-0 to Gerald Laird.
Laird may have the green light. 3-0 with the left-hander Lofton on deck.
He takes ball 4 down to first base. That's the 6th walk given up by Red Sox pitching tonight.
Yeah, really, when you think of it, down 6 walks, they're lucky they've only got 4 runs on the board.
Five of them, Julian Tavares. Javier Lopez walking his first batter. And it's first and third, 2 down for Kenny Lofton.
Always have to be concerned about a bunt with Lofton, even with 2 outs. And that man at third base. That's why you see Lowell in on the grass.
On the outside corner for strike 1 to Lofton. Lofton has struck out and grounded out twice, 0 for 3. There's Lowell in on the grass.
He would not be there for most hitters, but with Kenny Lofton, even with 2 outs, protecting against the possible bunt.
Down 0-2.
The breaking ball this time by Lopez as he throws that slider to Kenny Lofton. Maybe throw the same pitch, but a little bit more outside. Maybe he'll chase it.
To right field, J.D. Drew is there and makes the catch. The leadoff triple is wasted for Hank Blaylock and the Rangers, but they lead it 4-2.
Looking good. Keep working. Not under the boat now. Here, you got it? Yeah, get it in. Yeah.
Bummer, it's just an 8-footer. Oh, well, throw it back. Yeah.
A bad day in Florida beats a good day almost anywhere else. With Southwest Airlines Internet specials, you can fly nonstop from Manchester or Providence to Florida for just $69 one way. Purchased by April 12th.
You are now free to move about the country.
Meet Michael Johnson, the world's fastest man. Michael holds the world 200 and 400 meter records. When he turns off the lights at night, he's in bed before the room gets dark. Still got it. Brian, what's up? Hey, Michael, how are you? Moving this quick can make you hot in a hurry.
Hey, Michael!
As the world's fastest man called for Coors Light. Frost Brewed Coors Light. The world's most refreshing beer.
These are from Michael.
Ladies.
Hi, Michael.
Power Bob combined with Bob-O-Pedic, the best seller at Bob's Discount Furniture.
I can sleep on any sleep surface at my house. This is what I've chosen. Why? One word. Comfort. We spend a third of our lives in bed.
Think of the things you do in bed. The Power Bob with the Bob-O-Pedic have every angle covered.
Why spend thousands more on a Craftmatic and Tempur-Pedic when you can buy my Power Bob? I guarantee you, I will make you happy. Come on down.
Came to spend some time together, reconnect.
Like when I met her, dice are hot.
Like the names they got.
Non-stop fun.
Hole in one.
What a thrill!
Hey, I just won.
We're closer than we can recall. Yeah, let's live for the wonder of it all. Foxwoods.
Tonight, after our Red Sox coverage, catch Sports Desk with Catherine Tappan, presented by FW Webb, home of Frank Webb's Bath Centers. Visit them at fwweb.com. She'll have all the details on Boston College's heartbreaking loss in college hockey's national championship tonight against Michigan State, and highlights from moving day at the Masters Golf Tournament.
J.D. Drew starts the inning off with a base hit to center field. He continues his very good start to his Red Sox career, 2 for 3 so far tonight.
Yeah, 2 more hits in this ball game. Let's take a look at Lopez, who had a man at third base and nobody out in the 5th inning, and left that man at third base. There's the last out of the inning as Kenny Lofton flies out to J.D. Drew. J.D. Drew, leading off the inning, picks up the base hit, his second of the ball game.
Well, Millwood working here into the 6th inning. And has thrown 89 pitches as he now deals with Mike Lowell, who's been on twice tonight. Lowell with a walk in the 2nd inning and a single to center field in the 3rd. Line foul just outside the line. We're here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington, Texas. Don Orsillo, Jerry Remy, and Tina Cervasio bringing you Boston Red Sox baseball in high definition on NESN. Red Sox with single runs in the 1st and 2nd innings. Taking a 2-0 lead. RBIs for J.D. Drew and Julio Lugo. But Texas scores 4 times in the 3rd off Julian Tavares. And a 4-2 Texas lead into the top of the 6th inning.
Well, we get a chance to get a jump on getting home as ESPN has the game tomorrow night. Of course, we get to travel back home for the first time in about
6 weeks.
Yeah, about 6 weeks. And the first time you get to watch high definition in about 6 weeks.
Fired up about that. And of course, we can do that tomorrow night.
That looked like a pretty good curveball from Millwood, maybe being called for being too high. But it looked like a strike.
Kevin Millwood, of course, has a no-hitter to his credit. Did that back on April 27th of 2003. Member of the Philadelphia Phillies, beating the Giants at the time. Struck out 10 in the no-hitter and walked 3. Barry Bonds was in the lineup that day, and actually last out was a strikeout. This one is popped up left side. Shortstop is there, and Michael Young puts it away. Lowell retired.
It's interesting, you know, if you look at the cap for Millwood, you see the white spot on the top. Remember the controversy this week about K-Rod out in L.A., and they were accusing him of maybe doctoring the baseball. Well, you know, it's only natural when you use rosin and then you touch your cap like he's doing right there, you're going to have white stuff on the top of your cap and underneath the cap, and that's pretty much been the end of the story out there.
It was
K-Rod
mentioned and dropped very, very quickly.
Yeah, it was kind of weak.
Look at his line, 94 pitches deep is Kevin Millwood.
Now if you find pine tar under there, that's a whole different story.
Line to left center field, in for a hit. J.D. Drew is headed around. That's all the way to the track and the wall. Drew is going to try and score, and will, as a double to drive in a run for Jason Varitek, brings the Red Sox back within a run.
Well, we mentioned early in the game that Varitek's one of the guys that's had success in the past against Millwood. 389 coming into the game. He takes that fastball. That's a perfect swing by Varitek as he stays on it and shoots at the opposite field quickly. Hits that gap and gets by Wilkerson. That's going to allow J.D. Drew to score, and the Red Sox within 1. That's on a very cold night. Quite a bit of offense in this game. 15 hits so far.
There's Cameron Lowe up in the pen for Texas as Millwood gives up his first run since the second inning. There's Coco Crisp, who's 0 for 2. Crisp able to reach on a fielder's choice in the second inning, and he scored the Red Sox second run. Also stole a base. Fly to left. And 2 for 15 to begin the season for Coco Crisp. Fouled at the plate, and it evens up at 1-1. Beginning his second season in a Red Sox uniform after enduring an injury-plagued first season. Prior to last year, he had improved his batting average and total of home runs, doubles, runs scored in every season since he broke into the big leagues with the Indians at just the age of 22 back in 2002. But last year, a bit of a setback for him. And Chris trying to bounce back in his second year with the Red Sox. Now Laird's going to go out and talk to Millwood. Boston Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by Rico, Aflac, and by Pepsi. One down here in the top half of the sixth inning. Jason Varitek at second base. The run in, 4-3 Texas lead. Oh, swing and a miss, 2-2. Not a big strikeout night for Kevin Millwood. He has 3 strikeouts, 2 walks as he works with 1 out here in the sixth inning. Crisp hits it in the air to right field. Back goes Nelson Cruz, shy of the track to make the catch. Varitek tags and heads for third base. And the throw not nearly in time. So Crisp retired on the flyout to right, and Varitek to third, now 2 away.
Yeah, it's interesting. We sit here and watch some of these fly balls in this series that are hit pretty well. And,
yeah,
you know, when you're here in the middle of the summer and it's 100 degrees, you almost expect a home run. But here, a little bit toward the end of the bat. Still hit well, though, by Coco Crisp, but not even close to the warning track.
I thought it had a shot off the bat.
It's funny how different this ballpark plays when it's cold like this and when we're normally here when it's between 90 and 100 degrees. I bet there's been about 3 or 4 in this series already that may have been home runs. I'm not including that one.
100 pitches right now for Millwood. He averaged 97 last year. And here comes Ron Washington with Cameron Lowe ready to go in the pen. And with 2 outs here in the 6th inning, Ron Washington will leave him in the game. So Cameron Lowe will remain in the pen with 2 outs here in the 6th inning. Number 9 man to bat, Dustin Pedroia, walked in the 2nd inning and grounded out to shortstop in the 4th. Pedroia sends it foul down the right field line, back and out of play. Swing and a miss. Oh, Pedroia does not get cheated on his cuts. It's a big cut right there, 0-2. Veritek at third with 2 down. He represents the tying run. Off speed in the dirt gathered by Laird.
For a cold night, Millwood has snapped off some pretty good curveballs in this game tonight. And we mentioned up in Kansas City, sometimes it's difficult to get the feel of that breaking ball in cold conditions, but he's had a pretty decent one in this game.
Pedroia lifts it in the air. Out goes the second baseman Hairston in from center to make the catch to Lofton and to end the inning. Red Sox lead Veritek at third. They do get a run. It's 4-3 Texas.
Dodge Caliber's versatility and great gas mileage make it perfect for a road trip. All the right features make it even better. Discover America's hottest products at your Dodge dealer.
A 95-mile-an-hour fastball will reach home plate in 0.4 of a second. Watch every pitch in clear Panasonic motion. Panasonic Plasma for the speed of sports. Panasonic, ideas for life.
Killian's Irish Red is brewed from slow roasted, caramelized malts. We take our time to brew it. Please take your time to enjoy it.
Can you handle Wendy's new 4-alarm spicy chicken sandwich on freshly baked bread? A spicy whole breast filet, natural pepper jack cheese, chipotle sauce, and jalapenos. Being up for the challenge is doing what it takes.
Tuesday is one of the most special days on the calendar. Opening day at Fenway Park. Our coverage begins at 1 o'clock with Olympia Sports presents the Boston Globe pregame show with Tom Caron and Dennis Eckersley. You'll see complete coverage of the opening day ceremony from Fenway and a look at Josh Beckett preparing to take on the Seattle Mariners. It's all Tuesday afternoon at 1, live from Yawkey Way in high definition on Nesson. Well, it's a 4-3 Texas lead as the Red Sox get a run back in the top of the 6th. On to the bottom of the 6th, and the third pitcher of the night for Boston, it's Kyle Snyder.
Back-to-back days for Kyle Snyder. He worked in the ballgame yesterday, 2/3 of an inning, did have a strikeout. Overall for Snyder, his 3rd appearance. And the numbers in relief last year, so far this year, 8 games. A 1-0 record with a 4.05 ERA.
It'll be Jerry Hairston, Michael Young, and Mark Teixeira. He comes in after an inning for Javier Lopez, does Kyle Snyder. Lopez gave up a leadoff triple to Hank Blaylock, but did not allow Blaylock to score as he get out of the inning unscathed.
Yeah, if the Red Sox come back and win this ball game, that may be an inning you look to. Lopez with that leadoff triple and not allowing the run to come in.
Hairston's been on base twice. He walked in the third, singled in the fourth after grounding out back in the first inning. Hairston's had a tough time staying healthy over the years. A lot of trips to the disabled list. Always tough to battle back after you've been hit in the head with a pitch, and Hairston was taken to the hospital after being hit in the head and the helmet. Pitch from Kevin Correa in the bottom of the first inning back on March 5th of 2006 in the middle of spring training. Drives one to left. Ramirez headed back onto the warning track. Well, that one dropping in. Ramirez gathering it quickly. Is back to second goes Hairston with a double to begin things here in the sixth.
Well, some people were surprised to see Hairston in the lineup tonight, and Ian Kinsler getting a night off, but it's been quite a response by Hairston as he has been on base 3 times, a walk, a base hit, and now a leadoff double here in the 6th inning. So the Red Sox playing with fire here. A leadoff triple in the 5th, and now a leadoff double here in the 6th.
In the meantime, the Rangers have left 9 men on base through the first 5 innings. The only clean inning for a Red Sox pitcher was the first inning by Julian Tavares. There's J.C. Romero, who we've seen a lot of in the early going. Terry Francona is playing a lot of confidence in Romero, and he's been pretty good. On the right field line and back into the seats off the bat of Michael Young.
It's like tonight, almost every swing that Michael Young has taken has been designed to go to the opposite field. And so he had that double back in the 3rd inning, and then the ball got by J.D. Drew. Man at second base here, looks like he's intentionally trying to go that way again. That inside out swing. The ball going foul.
Well, a slow start for Michael Young, 2 for 17 coming into the game. Is that something you try to do to get yourself going, or as this one is sent in the air to right field? J.D. Drew backpedaling almost to the track to make the catch for the first out, tagging, and easily getting to third is Hairston.
Now there's a case you can make an argument that could be a sacrifice. You know he's trying to go that way, gets the ball deep enough to get the run to the third. And to answer your question, Don, yes. A lot of times early in the season, guys are anxious. They try to pull the ball too much. And one of the ways to try to get out of that situation is think up the middle, think opposite field. That helps you stay on the ball longer. Francona out of the dugout. Teixeira due up. Looks like they're going to switch him around.
So Snyder faces just the 2 batters. He leaves responsible for Hairston at third. We will see J.C. Romero when we come back to Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. It's 4-3 Texas. Today.
Look at the pressure behind this guy right now.
Strike 3 call over the outside corner. Swing and a miss.
Right now, Matsuzaka's painting pretty good with that fastball.
Matsuzaka makes it 10 strikeouts, and the Daisuke Matsuzaka era has officially begun.
Tuesday in HD. Don't miss the Sox Mariners home opener. Pre-game coverage begins at 1, only on NESN.
A lot of people think I'm nuts. I'm crazy. I'm kind of whacked. I'm kind of not your normal host. Think I'm dull? Oh my God, I caught myself. Welcome to the show. Where you been?
Sponsored by Obashan Hardware, the greatest show on H2O.
Well, you can see the Sox on the road with packages from Red Sox destinations. Trips to New York, Arizona, San Diego, Baltimore, Chicago are available now. They include tickets, accommodations, a tour, and a reception with a Red Sox player. Call 877-3-GAME-ON or 617-226-6400 or visit redsox.com/ Red Sox destination today.
I bet when they booked the destination, they did not realize it was going to be quite this cold in Texas.
No, I don't think so. They probably thought it was going to be spring break, you know?
Well, there's one out here in the bottom of the 6th inning with a runner at third for Texas, and on is J.C. Romero.
Romero making appearance number 4 of the season, his last coming up at Kansas City. Pitched an inning in that game, allowing 1 hit and no runs. 2 for 8 is Teixeira with a home run in his career against J.C. Romero. Sammy's only faced him 1 time. Well, the Red Sox will have to pull that infield in again with the 1 out, man at third, and of course a 1-run ball game.
It'll be Mark Teixeira coming up. He's been on twice after he grounded out in the 2nd inning. He has singled and walked, and he has scored a run.
Hitting from the right side, Teixeira for the first time this year facing a lefty. He did it yesterday, but it was against Tim Wakefield, the right-handed pitcher.
There's a strike for J.C. Romero, and the count evens up at 1-1. Teixeira breaking in 2003 became just the 6th switch hitting rookie in the major leagues to have at least 20 home runs. Last one to do it prior to that, Carlos Beltran in 1999. Two and one now to Teixeira. J.C. Romero, the 4th Boston pitcher of the night. Jerry Hairston at third base with 1 down. 3-1 to Teixeira. Sammy Sosa waiting on deck. Lined into left field, a base hit for Mark Teixeira, who delivers. Jerry Hairston scores, and the Rangers back on top by 2. It's 5-3 Texas.
That looked like a changeup that time from Romero that stayed up in the zone, and Teixeira jumped all over it. So Mark Teixeira picks up his first RBI of the season with that topspin line drive. But when he's sitting right-handed, that back shoulder really collapses. Kind of an uppercut swing, and that's why you see a lot of those topspin line drives.
Sammy Sosa with a big cut, driving one to deep left center field. At the wall, it is gone. Sammy Sosa with his first home run of the season and his first home run since 2005.
Been a long time between home runs for Sammy Sosa. When you see him go into that kind of shuffle down to first base, he thinks he's got one, and he got one there.
The curtain call for Sammy, who comes back out again. 589 for Sammy Sosa. Just 11 shy now of 600 in his career. 5th all time. And a chance here with the Texas Rangers to resurrect his career after a year spent off. Really, Baltimore was not a good experience for him. Ended up with 14 home runs, hitting in the 220s in his season with the Orioles that did not go well. A 7-3 lead now for the Rangers in what has become a 3-run sixth.
Now this could be a perfect fit for Sammy Sosa. You know, when the weather warms up, the way this ballpark plays.
This one is ripped into center field. A ringing single for Blaylock. J.C. Romero has not been a mystery since coming in.
Now the Red Sox bullpen up to this point has been very, very good on the season, but the struggles here in the 6th inning. Blaylock with 2 hits tonight, both hits against lefties. And it looks like Romero for a while, because I don't see anybody loosening in the Red Sox bullpen right now.
Here's Brad Wilkerson, who's been on twice tonight. He singled to left, walked and grounded out to first. Coleman Lowe's up last inning, has now been joined by Ron Mayhay. Swing and a miss for Wilkerson. And it's a ball and a strike to the Texas left fielder. Well, there is action in the Red Sox pen. Brendan Donnelly is up. We read about the Red Sox relievers. They had not issued a run in 8 innings of work over the last 3 games coming into tonight's action. And J.C. Romero's been very good as part of that. Four runs allowed by Tavares tonight, and now 3 by the pen. Wilkerson sends it out towards right. Drew coming on, won't get there. Falls in for a hit. And having to wait was Blaylock, but he gets to second base rather easily, and it's first and second now with still just 1 out in the inning.
Now 4 straight hits off J.C. Romero to Teixeira, then the home run by Sosa. Now 2 lefties with base hits. Blaylock followed by Wilkinson.
Donnelly has not been up long. John Farrell headed out to talk to J.C. Romero.
Fenway Park is not only America's most beloved ballpark, it's become Boston's favorite venue for a special event, whether it's a wedding or a corporate affair. Whether it's in the posh EMC club or an intimate gathering in a private suite, the places and spaces at Fenway are available to you every inning for every outing. Call 617-226-6791 or visit redsox.com/events.
First and second now, 1 down for Texas. Nelson Cruz, the batter, and he sends one foul off to the right.
He's been aggressive tonight. He got a base hit back in the 3rd inning to drive in 2 runs and swinging at the first pitch. Goes after it again.
Came to the Rangers in a deal that involved Kevin Mensch and Lance Nix and Francisco Cordero. Cruz came over with Carlos Lee. This one up top missing, and it's 1-1. September of last year, Nelson hit 2 home runs, one of which was the 21st inside the park home run in Texas Rangers history. That's one foul off to the right, 1-2.
Romero's had a tough time tonight keeping that changeup down. That was another changeup that was up in the strike zone. Unfortunately, this one fouled off by Nelson Cruz.
The 3-run inning so far for Texas. One of the runs charged to Kyle Snyder. Romero touched for 2 so far. He's given up 4 straight hits. Hit hard on the ground and off of Pedroia into center. Around from second comes Blaylock. He'll score, and it's 8-3 Texas. That was on the ground, but it was a rocket out towards second base.
You'll see, we talked about the very fast grass here. That didn't hit the grass, it hit the side of the mound and then off the glove of Pedroia. It's a big, big inning here for the Texas Rangers. It's something they haven't had all season long.
5 straight hits given up by Romero, charged with 3 runs so far. Terry Francona takes the baseball from Romero. And the pitching change from Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. It's now 8-3 Texas.
Red Sox Nation's gone global on NESN. One nation, one network.
歴史, tradiciones, pasión, ganar, Green Monster, the impossible dream. Yes. Bambino.
Pecky Sport doesn't work for you.
Climbing the ladder.
High cheese.
Rally cap.
My English getting better.
There is no language barrier on NESN. We speak the language of Red Sox Nation.
One nation, one network. NESN.
Time now for the Panasonic Plasma replay, so you can catch this again in crisp, rich detail motion. And it's the home run by Sammy Sosa. Sammy is now home in 43 different Major League parks. That ties a Major League record, ties him with Griffey and McGriff. That's a lot of different parks to have a home run in.
Sure is. You know, J.C. Romero gone did not retire a batter, giving up 5 hits so far, 3 runs. Didn't walk anybody, nor did he strike anybody out. Here's Brendan Donnelly.
It's only his second appearance for Donnelly. His first coming back on the second in Kansas City when he went 2/3 of an inning. Excuse me, 1/3 of an inning. He had 1 strikeout in that ball game. See, over the last 5 years, the .212 batting average against right-handed hitters. Well, the Rangers in this series have got a little bit of everything, haven't they? Pitching yesterday, defense, tonight some offense.
Well, they have indeed, and finally getting that offense going after really being stymied to begin the year. Last night, or yesterday rather, just the 2-0 victory against the Red Sox, and only able to amount 3 hits. In fact, the first 4 games just 9 runs total, and tonight with 8. Ooh, that offense was too good to stay down that long. Here is Gerald Laird, the 8th man to bat here for Texas in the bottom of the 6th inning. Runners at first and third. Wilkerson at third, Cruz at first. Donnelly, of course, reaching the major leagues. The age of 30 after a 10-year minor league career that included 2 stints in independent leagues. And then releases from the White Sox, Cubs, Reds, Devil Rays, Pirates, and Blue Jays. Before making it to the majors as a member of the Angels. Falls behind now 2-1 to Gerald Laird. Donnelly outstanding with the Angels in 2002, part of their World Championship team. The Angels beat the Giants in 7 games. He pitched in 5 of the games, 7 2/3 without giving up a run. And really the best time of his career was spent that season with the Angels. There is Hideki Okajima up in the pen. Red Sox really getting into that pen tonight. We've already seen 4 relievers after Tavares left after 4 innings. Here's ball 4, and Donnelly walks the first batter that he faces. So the base is loaded now for Texas. Back up to the top of the order for Kenny Lofton. Lofton 0 for 4. He struck out, grounded out twice, and fly to right. Opposite foul. We were talking about K-Rod earlier and them checking the situation with the rosin on his hat. Back on June 14th of 2005, Brendan Donnelly was ejected from a game for having pine tar on his glove. Nationals manager at the time, Frank Robinson, alerted the home plate umpire Tim Sheeta after the Nationals video crew spotted that and thought it was an unusual movement on Donnelly's pitches. And sure enough, there was some pine tar on there, so he has been down that road before.
Well, risen pitches like a touch of pine tar. It gives him a better grip on the seams of the baseball, and if you're going a slider, you know, you get that sticky substance on there, and it helps you grip the baseball, which of course is illegal.
Not supposed to do that. Fouled off to the left, and it's still 0-2 to Kenny Lofton. Outside, Lofton not chasing. 8 runs now on 13 hits for the Rangers, no errors. 3 runs, 8 hits, and an error for the Red Sox. A very tough inning. In the top half of this inning, the Red Sox got a run, and back within a run left Jason Varitek at third base with the tying run, and now Texas has scored 4 times in the bottom half of the inning. Well, not checking for Jason Varitek as requested, and it is 2-2. Wilkerson at third, Cruz at second, Laird at first. Fouled off again to the left, and Lofton continuing a lengthy at bat. He's fouled off a bunch.
Well, you certainly thought coming into this game pitches would have the advantage with the conditions here tonight, but it has been the offense for the Texas Rangers tonight.
Lofton was down 0-2. It's now a full count.
3 times down, he's tried to put him away with the split-fingered fastball, and 3 times he's been out of the strike zone. Split him by Donnelly here, as you can see, with the grip on the baseball, but well below the knees.
A foul fly off the bat of Lofton. Lofton wasting no time this season in getting his 600th career stolen base. He walked a leadoff opening night in Los Angeles against the Angels and then stole second right away. Ranked 17th on the all-time list. Up next is George Davis at 616. Fly ball finally to shallow left. Manny coming in. And he'll make the catch and fire it back in. No advance. He was pretty shallow out there in left field for Wilkerson, who's at third. And there's now 2 outs in the inning.
Now long at bat by Kenny Lofton that results in a fly ball not deep enough to get the run home. And he overthrew the cutoff man. Almost made a bad throw. Varitek was able to come up the line and make the catch on the throw. And the fastball on the 3-2 count. You see the disgust by Kenny Lofton.
Well, the Rangers have batted around. Jerry Hairston got it all started to begin things here in the bottom of the 6th inning with a double. That was against Kyle Snyder. And here he is for the 2nd time in the inning. Hairston with a double, a single, a walk, and a ground out. Hairston had not started previously. Ian Kinsler, their everyday second baseman, had started the first 4 games of the year. Hairston debuting yesterday in center field defensively, getting his first start of the year tonight. He was traded to Texas from the Chicago Cubs May 31st of last year for Phil Nevin. Well-traveled Phil Nevin. Foul back into the seats, and it's 1-2. Donnelly, the 3rd pitcher of the inning for the Red Sox. Kyle Snyder started it. And they recorded an out. J.C. Romero faced 5 batters and gave up hits to all of them. And so far has been charged with 3 runs. He's still responsible for Wilkerson at 3rd, Cruz at 2nd. First batter that Donnelly faced, he walked in Gerald Laird, then the fly out to left of Kenny Lofton. So 1 out for Snyder, 1 out for Donnelly. And so far in the inning, 4 runs for Texas.
Now the Red Sox came into this inning just 1 run down, and it looked to be a pretty good shape. But that very quickly changed.
Left the tying run at 3rd base and Jason Varitek, and the Rangers have answered here in a big way. Now with a 5-run advantage, looking for more. Jerry Hairston, of course, the family of major leaguers. His dad, Jerry Hairston Sr., 14 major league seasons with the Chicago White Sox. Known as one of the game's top pinch hitters in the game in the 1980s. Inside for ball 3, and it's a full count. Not only did his dad play in the majors, but also his Uncle John and his grandfather Sam, all major leaguers. Bases loaded, full count with 2 down. The runners will be in motion. Hairston lines a foul ball just outside the line. And a hot shot. Making the call and trying to get out of the way at the same time was Rob Drake.
Been a couple of long at bats here, back to back. Kenny Lofton and now Hairston. Hairston just fouled down that 3rd base line, right in front of Drake, the 3rd base umpire. But both Lofton and Hairston have really made Donnelly throw a lot of pitches.
Donnelly, the 3rd pitcher of the inning, has already thrown 21 pitches. Pop up foul ground. Varitek with a play. Makes it. But a tough inning for the Red Sox. Texas scores 4 times, and they take an 8-3 lead.
And now, a Roadrunner heist.
What's that?
The internet from David's house.
Put it back.
But the Roadrunner is so much faster than our phone line. Don't you want what's best for us?
No. Honey, you too?
Yeah, me too.
Call today and get Roadrunner for $29.95 per month for 12 months.
Start something new with Roadrunner High-Speed Online from Time Warner.
And now, life without Roadrunner.
Sir, I've sent it like 4 times. What are you doing?
Nothing with your slow connection. Until you get me Roadrunner High Speed Online, I'm offline.
Listen, you
shouldn't call your boss names.
No, sir, I was talking to my computer.
Oh, good luck with that.
Call 1-800-833-2253 to get special savings on Roadrunner High Speed Online. Time Warner Cable, the power of you.
Yeah, can I get the love handles, double chin, and some blubber?
Please drive around.
When you get greasy fast food, what are you really getting? The new Subway Fresh Fit meals fit into the American Heart Association's approach to a healthy lifestyle. Subway, eat fresh.
(1640) Hammond Street, Bangor is the home of the sports arena and BangorTickets.com.
If we were in an emergency situation, we don't have extra. We have a little bit of water and a little bit of food. A meeting place, no.
No. For the family to meet?
No.
After the game for WB Mason's Extra Innings with Tom Caron and Jim Rice, they'll bring you a complete breakdown of Julian Tavares' first start of the year, and you'll hear from the pitcher's post-game comments. So plus all of Major League Baseball highlights, including Derek Lowe and the Dodgers taking on Barry Bonds and the Giants. It's all right after the game in high definition on Nesson.
A 4-run bottom of the 6th inning for the Texas Rangers has them on top 8-3 as we head to the 7th inning, and a new pitcher for the Rangers is Cameron Lowe.
Well, the Red Sox are used to seeing him in a starting role. Made 15 starts last year for the Texas Rangers, and 2 of those against the Red Sox, and pitched very well. 1-0 with a 1.54 last season against Boston. Did not pitch in relief at all for the Rangers a year ago. Second appearance of this year.
Julio Lugo will be the first batter that Cameron Lowe faces. As Texas with a very big bottom of the 6th inning. And Kevin Millwood goes the first 6 innings tonight for the Rangers. 8 hits and 3 runs. He walked 3 and struck out 3, and has a chance to pick up his first victory of the year. He had lost his first outing against the Angels in a 5-inning effort in which he gave up the same number of runs, but did not get the kind of offensive support in that first outing that he has received tonight. And will likely receive during the year. This Rangers team going to score a lot of runs. As Lugo lines one out towards left center field for a base hit. And a lead runner on for Boston here in the 7th.
Strange night for Julio Lugo. 2 strikeouts and 2 hits. 2 singles. Plus one of those to drive in a run back in the 2nd inning.
Here's Kevin Youkilis, who's been on base 3 times tonight, 2 singles and a walk. Career record for Cameron Lowe of 12-12 with a 4.58 ERA. Major leagues, he's only allowed 17 home runs in 177 innings. Did spend time on the DL last year with a bone bruise on the outside of his right elbow. Born in Simi Valley, California. He was the winner of the Nolan Ryan Award as the top pitcher in the Texas Rangers organization back in 2004. And a huge Nolan Ryan fan, so much so that in honor of Nolan Ryan, he had the number 34 superimposed over a blazing fastball that was tattooed on his right shoulder blade. I got more on Cameron Lowe. You ready?
No, I've heard enough.
No, I got more. This gets even better. Lowe has a 7-foot, 20-pound Colombian red-tailed boa constrictor named Angel. He keeps the snake in a pillowcase when he travels and has a huge snake tank at home. I don't like snakes. Out towards center field on the run is Lofton. He'll get there and make the catch spinning to fire back in. Long run back, but Lugo will get there. Let's check in with Tina Cervasio. Tina, any snake stuff?
No stuff on snakes. I'm actually talking about Sammy Sosa, and obviously his bat has made a big impact tonight. It was the difference in last night's game, and clearly David Ortiz isn't happy about that, but Ortiz does say it's great to have Sammy Sosa back in the game.
Sammy had done a lot of things for the game, and I think, lately in the game, a lot of things been happening. We a lot of guys capable to play, being out of the game for any kind of reason, I think that a guy like Sammy that have done a lot of things in the game, being back in the game, I think is good for the game of baseball.
Now, Ortiz and Sosa are very similar in their humanitarian efforts in their home country of the Dominican Republic. Just like Ortiz, Sosa has given a lot of money to various medical clinics, and the two of them cannot go unrecognized if they drive down any street in the Dominican Republic.
Okay, Tina, well, Sammy back here tonight, and a home run in a Texas Rangers uniform against the Red Sox. As the pitching coach Mark Connor out there to talk to Cameron Lowe.
Hey, I don't think very happy with his approach here, falling behind Red Sox hitters with a nice 5-run lead in the ball game.
You know, Jerry, the way things ended for Sammy Sosa in Baltimore in that last year with the Orioles, it really wouldn't have surprised me if he had not returned, and that would have been the end there, kind of a retirement type thing. So I guess a bit of a surprise that he is back and appears to be in very good shape.
Yeah, the Rangers offering him a minor league contract coming down to spring training, try to make the ball club. You wouldn't expect Sosa to go to the minor leagues.
No.
They probably would have went back home had that happened, but yeah, it looked like an ugly ending for him, didn't it, in Baltimore a couple of years ago. Any more tattoo information about Cameron Lowe? Or?
No, nothing else. I told you about the Nolan Ryan tattoo, which is, to my knowledge, all he has. But the 7-foot, 20-pound boa constrictor.
Where do you get this stuff?
The 3-1 pitch. What do you think? I just roll in here and don't do any prep? I do tons of prep. You ready for this? He once said, this is a quote from Cameron Lowe. This is Cameron Lowe speaking. These are his words. He said about the Angels, ready for this?
Yeah.
He said, I'd like to watch her eat a rally monkey. That's offensive. He's talking about his boa constrictor and what he'd like to do with the rally monkey of the Angels. It's good stuff. 3-2 is outside, ball 4 to David Ortiz. And he'll head down to first base. It's the 4th walk given up by Texas pitching tonight.
Well, if he doesn't get his act together quickly, he'll be tending to his snake pretty soon, because this is not what Ron Washington wants to see.
There is action. It's Ron Mayhay,
who does not have a Nolan Ryan tattoo, from what we understand. You get that in your book?
Let me check. No, I got a lot of stuff on Ron Mayhay, but
save it.
I don't want to let it go right now.
No, don't save that stuff.
Well, you may see Ron Mayhay, and when we do, Manny Ramirez 0 for 3. He's reached on a fielder's choice, struck out looking, and is grounded to short. Right into center field, a base hit. Julio Lugo being waved around. He'll score. Well, the Red Sox pick up their 4th run. It's now 8-4 Texas. Really delivering with his 2nd RBI of the season.
We'll see if that's it for Cameron Lowe. This has not been very impressive with the 5-run lead. Make it a 4-run lead now. And out comes Washington, and Don, you'll have a chance to tell us all about Ron Mayhay when he comes in.
So the pitching change with 1 down here in the top half of the 7th inning. It's now 8-4 Texas on top.
What is Sox Appeal?
Sox Appeal is, I heard it's a reality show.
The show is similar to the dating game.
3 blind dates. 3 blind dates at Fenway Park.
That's a great atmosphere, you know what I mean? It's fun.
And you choose the one that you think is compatible for you.
I mean, that's about it.
Sox Appeal?
Oh, God.
Sox Appeal.
And you're going to have free tickets to the game. What's better than that?
Don't be getting drunk and run around the field and screaming. Please.
Find out if you have Sox Appeal at Bob's Store's casting session near you.
Celebrate the 40th anniversary of the 67 Sox with Impossible to Forget, a documentary featuring new interviews and footage seen for the first time since 1967. Tune in for this special encore performance of Impossible to Forget, Sunday night at 6 on Nesson. Catch your Sox round the clock with Sox in 2, presented by T&K Asphalt Services. Tune in game nights at midnight and the next afternoon for 2-hour game replays. Nesson keeps your Sox on with Sox in 2.
Back in Arlington, Texas, this game summary is brought to you by your local Lincoln Mercury dealers. Julio Lugo with an RBI. The Red Sox at the time with a 2-0 advantage. But things went badly after that. A 4-run 3rd inning. This one gets by J.D. Drew. And all the way around and scoring was Michael Young. There in right field for J.D. Drew. Sammy Sosa returning to the Texas Rangers first time since 1989. And he homers in this one. As part of the 4-run bottom of the 6th inning, Texas with an 8-4 lead as Rangers making the pitching change. Cameron Lowe done after facing 4 batters, giving up a run, and still responsible for the runners at 1st and 2nd. New pitcher, former Red Sox outfielder and pitcher Ron Mayhay.
2nd appearance of the season for Mayhay. That first one coming against the Angels. Last year, Mayhay was 2nd among the relievers. Texas relievers with 56 strikeouts. Look at J.D. Drew, 2 for 2 with a home run off Ron Mayhay. That would make things very interesting, a home run right now.
Well, J.D. Drew with 2 hits in the game tonight. A single in the 1st, a single in the 6th. Wrapped around a pop out to 3rd. David Ortiz at 2nd base. Manny Ramirez at 1st with 1 down. Drew pops it up. From 3rd comes Blaylock. And he'll make the catch for the 2nd out. And the infield fly rule is out already. 2 down. Here comes Mike Lowell, who has been on base twice tonight, a walk and a single. He's also popped out to short. Fooled on that pitch, a swing and a miss. And there for a strike to Lowell, 1-2. Evan Millwood tonight, 6 innings, giving up 3 runs. Cameron Lowe giving up a run in the third of an inning. Now Ron Mayhay. Two and two to Lowell. Red Sox and Rangers with one game left. Kurt Schilling matched up against Vicente Padilla tomorrow night. An 8:05 Eastern start time. Cole sends it to right field, falling fast, but Cruz is there to make the catch. It ends the inning. Red Sox get a run back. Seventh inning stretch. It's 8-4 Texas. Time for a Sports Desk update with Catherine Tappan.
Don, thank you. Hi, everybody. Tonight on Sports Desk, presented by FW Webb, home of Frank Webb's Bath Centers, Boston College skates for a national championship against Michigan State, wears Tiger after 3 rounds at the Masters, and the Bruins wrap up their season against Ottawa. Join me tonight right after Red Sox coverage, but time now for a quick break.
Yes. Elliot, what's happening? Come into any Jordan's Furniture now and purchase a sofa, a sectional, a dining table, a bed, or a mattress. And if the Red Sox win the World Championship this year, they'll be yours free. Yes, next.
How much can I buy?
You can buy as much as you want, any price range you want. Next.
How are you doing this?
With an insurance policy. That way we're rooting for the Red Sox too. Yes.
When does this end?
It ends Monday. April 16th is the very last day, so come in now. Go Sox.
I am your idea. I gotta fly. I gotta move. I'm out of the box and in the network. In the zone and on your mind. Don't stop me now. Give me Rico. Rico's always ready to move me. Send me. Here, there, everywhere. This is how we go. Let's go. Rico.
It's the ultimate Red Sox show for the ultimate Red Sox fan. Join Hazel May as she counts down the 9 must-see stories each week from Red Sox Nation. With interviews from Sox players, special features, and highlights. Granite City Electric's Ultimate Red Sox Show is the ultimate way to keep up on all things Red Sox. Granite City Electric's Ultimate Red Sox Show with Hazel May premieres Sunday, April 15th at 5 p.m. only on Nesson.
The LoJack Caught Stealing Sweepstakes is back again for another season. Visit LoJack.com/caught-stealing for details and to enter to win LoJack, the only stolen vehicle recovery system operated by the police.
Cold night in Texas. Game 2 of the 3-game series between the Red Sox and the Rangers. And it's an 8-4 Texas lead. As we head to the bottom of the 7th inning, Red Sox will use pitcher number 6 of the night. And it's Hideki Okajima.
Back-to-back appearances. He pitched in the game yesterday against the Rangers, inning in a third, had 1 walk. No hits, no runs in that game. His 3rd appearance overall for the Red Sox.
Defensive change at first base for the Red Sox as Kevin Youkilis comes out. Eric Kinski making his 1st appearance of the year. Okajima to face Michael Young, Mark Teixeira, and Sammy Sosa here in the 7th. And with a double in the 3rd inning, 1 for 4 tonight, he knocked in a run with that double. Ended up coming all the way around to score on the error by J.D. Drew. Punches at that pitch, and it's 1-1.
It's interesting because prior to the game today in Terry Francona's press conference, he was talking just about this type of ball game tonight, about bullpens in baseball and how quickly, you know, that can change games. And Red Sox have had excellent bullpen work through the first few games of this season, but tonight it has not been the case.
Only getting 4 innings tonight from Tavares, who threw 87 pitches in the 4 innings and gave up 4 runs. Breaking ball missing as Okajima falls behind 3-1. Joel Pinheiro up in the Red Sox pen. Javier Lopez, Kyle Snyder, J.C. Romero, Brendan Donnelly, and now Hideki Okajima. Opposite field, hit well. J.D. Drew back just shy of the track to make the catch for out number 1.
That's a number of times tonight that Young has hit the ball very well to the opposite field. 3 times he's flown out to J.D. Drew. Also has a double. This double coming back in the 3rd inning. Right down the right field line. And of course an error on J.D. Drew on this play. So an RBI for Young on that double. Plus another run coming home on the error.
So 1 down, and Mark Teixeira the batter.
There are clean games and not clean games, and this has not been a clean game tonight for the Red Sox.
Teixeira grounded out in the 2nd since then. He's been on 3 times, 2 singles and a walk, and driven in a run, scored a run. Drive to center field. Coco Crisp. 2 down.
Okajima, just as he releases the baseball, almost looking down at the ground. Look at that. That's an interesting shot. Trying to snap off a breaking ball right there, and actually the ball stayed up in the zone, which hit pretty well, but and out. But that's an interesting look. Looking straight down at the mound. Kind of hurts your neck just watching it, doesn't it? Looks down and recoils. Okajima also gets a lot of attention from the Japanese media, but not nearly what Daisuke does, and it doesn't seem to bother him at all. I mean, he's accustomed to that.
Sammy Sosa, the home run, his last time up. There's some of the media attention. Sammy chant goes up at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. Rounds one back to the mound. Okajima nicely off the 3rd base side, throws him out at first. A 1-2-3-7 to the end of the 8th. It's 8-4 Texas.
Your flight attendants will be coming through the cabin shortly, offering snacks for sale for $5. Also available, in-flight magazines for $3. If you'd like to rent a pillow or blanket, that'll be $2. You need to use the restroom? That fee's $4. If you need anything else, feel free to push that call button for a minimum fee of $1.
How far are they gonna go? For 35 years, Southwest Airlines has offered low fares with no strings attached.
You are now free to move about the country.
Think you know everything about the Ford Fusion? Think again. It's time to see for yourself while the all-wheel drive Fusion beat out Camry and Accord on performance, handling, and styling. Need more? How about that Fusion was named J.D. Power's most appealing car in its class? Lease one for just $199 a month and your first payment's on us. Only at your local Ford store.
Meet Magnus Vermagnuson, the strongest man in the world. Mr. Magnuson can lift a car over his head, carry an anvil the length of a football field, pull a 747 jet with his teeth. And at the end of a long, hot, strenuous day, what does the world world's strongest man call for
Coors Light.
Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Hey, buddy. Sorry.
What's the soundtrack to Boston's workday?
Magic 106.7.
Magic 1.5 hours of soft rock to make your workday fly by. Magic 106.7, the soundtrack to Boston's workday.
Back in Texas, 8-4. The Rangers on top as we head to the top of the 8th. Ron Mayhay back on the mound dealing with Jason Varitek. Varitek tonight 1 for 3 with a double and a run driven in. Now 2 RBIs on the season for Varitek. A very cold night tonight in Texas that has gotten colder as the night has gone on.
I guess similar weather expected tomorrow, at least for part of the day, and then maybe getting a little bit better in the afternoon, but not much.
Mayhay falling behind 3-0. Seemed very strange to see snow here today, and there's not a lot of it, but just kind of a quick snow shower for a little while as Varitek heads down to first base. A leadoff walk to begin the 8th.
Well, there's a great new look to the Red Sox Nation program in 2007. It has new rewards, gifts, and unique ticket opportunities. Become part of the global fan base that has made their citizenship in Red Sox Nation official. Visit redsox.com today.
Coco Crisp standing in. He is 0 for 3. He's reached on a fielder's choice, fly to left and fly to right. This sends it to center. Lofton was in a step, now goes back a few to make the catch.
Joaquin Benoit, who pitched in the ball game yesterday and drew tremendous praise from his manager Ron Washington after that outing. Loosening now in the bullpen. I think Washington's tactics are that, you know, this pitching here has been so bad for so long that any positive thing that he can bring up to him, he's going to do so. They try to give him some confidence and put an end to what has been a long run of bad pitching here in Texas. Now, whether that can go through the whole season, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, certainly hoping for big things from Eric Gagne. Tough to tell what you're going to get from Eric Gagne once he's been out so long and the myriad of injuries that he's gone through. And of course, beginning the year on the DL, but by all accounts should be back soon, still rehabbing in the minor leagues.
He pitched tonight at Frisco, which I believe is a AA team for the Texas Rangers here in Texas.
Gave up a home run in an inning, told tonight in Frisco. And a swing and a miss as Pedroia goes chasing after that pitch. Ball and 2 strikes. Pedroia strikes out. So 2 down.
A lot of changeups from Ron Mayhay, in particular to those right-handed hitters. He gets Pedroia to chase one that's out of the strike zone. Of course, no tag be needed there because there is a man at first base. Looks like Pedroia was questioning whether he foul that ball off, and he got the no sign from Tim McCullen.
Here's Julio Lugo with 2 down. Leadoff walk for Varitek, still standing at first. Lugo with a couple of hits tonight, both to center. He's also knocked in a run.
Only two members of the Red Sox lineup that do not have a hit, Crisp and Pedroia. But they've kind of been scattered around. Not too many, really big opportunities to score runs.
The team's in a double figures in hits, 13 for Texas, 10 for Boston. Up and away. Laird had to leap to get that one. One and two to Julio Lugo. Veritek at first, two down here in the 8th. Bounces in off of Laird. So one up and over him that he had to lunge to get, and this one bouncing in off him.
At least he's keeping warm behind the plate, that's for sure. Moving around plenty with Ron Mayhay this inning. Looks like a little elbow from Laird. He came Julio Lugo too, chasing down that ball that got by him.
Back to the pitcher. Mayhay knocks it down. He's bracing himself with the glove and fires to first just in time. Wow. They just get him to end the inning. We head to the bottom of the 8th, 8-4 Texas.
Some people buy the Toyota Tacoma because it's rugged. Some because it retains its value. A Tacoma could also save you thousands compared to similarly priced trucks, which many find appealing. But the vast majority of Tacoma owners are Tacoma owners because of a little thing called Toyota reliability. Should you buy a Tacoma? Ask someone you know who drives one. They're out there.
Will spin up to 30 times a second and break as much as 17 inches. Watch every pitch in clear Panasonic motion. Panasonic Plasma for the speed of sports. Panasonic, ideas for life.
Grubs. Their mission? Destroy your lawn. Now there's Bear Advanced season-long grub control with Merit. Its exclusive 2-in-1 formula stops grubs all season. Plus it revitalizes your lawn, guaranteed. Bear Advanced.
What is Sox Appeal?
Sox Appeal is, I heard it's a reality show.
The show is similar to the dating game.
3 blind dates. 3 blind dates at Fenway Park.
That's a great atmosphere, you know what I mean? It's fun.
And you choose the one that you think is compatible for you.
I mean, that's about it.
Sox Appeal?
Oh, God.
Sox Appeal.
And you're going to have free tickets to the game. What's better than that?
Don't be getting drunk and run around the field and screaming. Please.
Find out if you have Sox Appeal at Bob's Store's casting session near you.
Boston Red Sox baseball in Nesson is brought to you by New England Ford dealers, Killian's, Sovereign Bank, the official bank of the Red Sox cable network, by New England Dodge dealers, and by Southwest Airlines. Along to the bottom of the 8th, 8-4, Texas on top. Red Sox with another pitcher from the pen as Joel Pinheiro enters the game.
Third outing of the season for Pinheiro. Total of an inning and a third. A couple of hits given up, 1 run, no walks and 2 strikeouts. Last outing for Pinheiro coming up at KC back on the 4th. An inning in that game and had 2 strikeouts. 24 total games in his career against the Rangers. Looked very good in his last outing.
Hank Blaylock, Brad Wilkerson, and Nelson Cruz expected in the inning. Clean inning for Hideki Okajima. In the 7th, he retired all 3 batters that he faced.
Yeah, that's only the 2nd clean inning the Red Sox had. It was back in the 1st and in the 7th.
Announced attendance tonight, 40,865. So they've had better than 90,000 here in the first 2 games of this 3-game series. And with 1 game left to play here tomorrow night. Blaylock hits it down the left field line foul. Manning gives chase, but that's back into the seats.
Good night for Blaylock. A couple of hits off left-handed pitching tonight to go along with a walk and a strikeout. A little interesting tidbit on Blaylock.
I was just taking a look at that.
You don't have much?
I don't have much on Blaylock. No snakes. It's too short. Lugo has to go off the glove, and Blaylock will reach. A do-or-die play, not hit hard, and it's a hit for Blaylock.
I was interested how they would rule that, and I kind of agree with it because I don't think from where Lugo's playing he would have thrown him out at first base. Kind of a strange bounce, wasn't it, off that grass?
Changed direction.
Sure did.
So lead runner on for the Rangers here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Blaylock at first, and here's Brad Wilkerson.
What do they call that thing? The Zamboni? Zamboni?
Zamboni.
Zamboni. They had to bring it out and do the infield. It's probably frozen out there.
Well, the Zamboni's going to make it colder.
Smooths it out, though, doesn't it?
It'll smooth it out, but it'll add a film of ice.
Did you see the guy that got arrested for driving a Zamboni intoxicated?
I did not, no.
Yeah, they did. It happened. He was cleaning the ice, I guess, and
he was loaded.
They gave him a breathalyzer, and I guess he was had a couple of pops, but I guess they had to let him go because there was no law, like he wasn't driving on the street or anything like that. So be careful, Don, next time you're driving your Zamboni around town.
Wilkerson strikes out for the first out here of the 8th. That is the 4th strikeout tonight for Red Sox pitching. Julian Tavares had 3 in his 4 innings. The 5 relievers we've seen since did not have one until Joel Pinheiro strikeout of Brad Wilkerson. 1 out, 1 on for Nelson Cruz. He's had a nice night from the number 8 spot. He's been on base 3 times. Wow.
That's a good call there.
Yes.
Great call.
Looks like there were several calls.
Hopefully they're not driving the Zamboni home tonight after the game.
Two and one the count to Nelson Cruz. 1 out, 1 on. On the ground towards second. Pedroia will start 2 here if he can on to first. It is indeed a double play that ends the 8th inning. Head for the 9th. It's 8-4 Texas.
Your flight attendants will be coming through the cabin shortly, offering snacks for sale for $5. Also available, in-flight magazines for $3. If you'd like to rent a pillow or blanket, that'll be $2. You need to use the restroom? That fee's $4. If you need anything else, feel free to push that call button for a minimum fee of $1.
How far are they going to go? For 35 years, Southwest Airlines has offered low fares with no strings attached.
You are now free to move about the country.
Power Bob combined with Bobopedic, the best seller at Bob's Discount Furniture.
I can sleep on any sleep surface at my house. This is what I've chosen. Why? One word: comfort. We spend a third of our lives in bed.
Think of the things you do in bed. The Power Bob with the Bobopedic have every angle covered.
Why spend thousands more on a Craftmatic and Tempur-Pedic when you can buy my Power Bob? I guarantee you, I will make you happy. Come on down.
They've stormed beaches and freed countries. They've raised our flag and our hope. They've been called leathernecks. They've been called devil dogs. But above all, they're called Marines.
Stay tuned after the game for Granite City Electric's Extra Innings Extra with Tom Guerin and Jim Rice. You'll hear the manager's assessment of today's game and Terry's take with Tina Sabasio. Plus, a preview of the series finale here in Texas tomorrow night as Kurt Schilling takes on Vincent Padilla and the Texas Rangers. It's all after the game in high definition, and it's only on Nesson.
Ninth inning, it's 8-4, Texas on top. And after a good outing yesterday, back in there today, Joaquin Benoit to pitch the ninth.
Third appearance of the season, an inning and 2/3 totals, 1 hit allowed, 1 walk, and a couple of strikeouts. Yesterday in that game against the Red Sox, Benoit went an inning, had a walk and a strikeout against Boston. See the totals of last season, 56 games out of the bullpen.
First plate appearance for Eric Hinsky, who took over defensively last inning. At first base for Kevin Youkilis and his first at bat of the season.
I met Eric Hinsky's dad at the lobby of the hotel today here for the series. They get our games, of course, they're back in Wisconsin, where it's probably just as cold there tonight as it is here.
Hinsky lines it to right field, in for a base hit. Right turn at first, and Hinsky in his first at bat of 2007's got himself a base hit.
Hinsky hooking that outside fastball. Topspin line drive for the base hit. That can't be easy to do. You sit around for 8 innings in this type of weather. I'm sure you get a chance to warm up a little bit in the clubhouse, but come out and pick up a base hit.
So Hinsky at first, not held on by Teixeira, and here's David Ortiz. Ortiz with a single back in the first inning. Since then, 2 groundouts and a walk. Akinori Otsuka up in the pen for Texas. Ortiz drives one out towards right field. Nelson Cruz back and making the catch shy of the track. And Hinsky back to the bag at first.
At first, it looked like Cruz was taking the wrong track after that baseball as he cut straight across, then decided to go back and was able to turn it into a fairly routine play. Good solid contact by Ortiz, hit very well, but Cruz makes the adjustment. And in front of the warning track makes the catch.
So 1 out, 1 on, and it brings up Manny Ramirez. Manny with an RBI single in the 7th, a 1-for-4 night. Benoit trying to finish off the Red Sox here in the 9th to make a winner of Kevin Millwood for the first time this season. Rangers starter pitched the first 6 innings tonight, giving up 3 runs. On 8 hits, we saw Cameron Lowe for 1/3 of an inning, who gave up a run. Mayhay an inning and 2/3, and now Joaquin Benoit pitching the 9th. His 0-1 pitch to Manny. 1-1 to Ramirez with J.D. Drew waiting on deck. there to the mound to talk to Benoit, falling behind Ramirez, 2-1.
A lot of conversations tonight between pitching coach, manager, catcher, all with Texas bullpen guys. And in particular, Cameron Lowe, who fell behind a lot of Red Sox in his counts. Benoit now falling behind Ramirez.
Linsky led off the inning with a single. He's at first base with 1 out in the 9th. Three and 1 now to Manny. Golfs it foul off to the right, full count. Joaquin Benoit, career high in appearances with 56 last year. Ended up finishing 7 games in 2006. Over the last 2 years, just a 196 average against him, ranking 8th among American League relievers. Spent a good bit of his career starting games for the Texas Rangers as well. Full count to Manny Ramirez with 1 out in the 9th. Strike 3 call, and Manny knew it. 2 down in the 9th.
That's the second time tonight that Manny has struck out on a breaking ball. Millwood got him on a curveball back in the 3rd. Now surprised on the 3-2 count with the slider. Well, Manny missed his pitch 3-1. He had a good fastball to hit, fouled it off, and then gets beat on the breaking ball.
So 2 down, and here's J.D. Drew in the 9th. Drew tonight with a couple of hits. He singled in the 1st and in the 6th inning. He has driven in a run. Linsky takes off for second as Drew fouls it off to the left. Linsky again off with the pitch, no throw, defensive indifference as Hinsky cruises into second base. Two and 1 the count to J.D. Drew with 2 outs in the 9th. Fly ball to center field. Kenny Lofton over a few steps. And the Rangers win game 2 of the series. They've taken the first 2 of the series tonight on a chilly night in Texas as they beat the Red Sox 8-4 in this one. Sammy Sosa with a home run. We'll be right back here in Texas after this. W. Mason's right around the corner.
Stay in the game with an hour of post-game coverage on NESN. It's your post-game all-access pass with WB Mason's Extra Innings and Granite City Electric's Extra Innings Extra.
What does it take to earn AMCI's best-in-class certification for acceleration? Raw horsepower.
The all-new, full-size Toyota Tundra. The truck that's changing it all.
Free is fantastic, right? Like free coffee or free parking. But free checking? Usually you have to buy checks and keep minimum balances. At Sovereign Bank, free means free. And with our free interest checking, use any bank's ATMs free. You also get free checks, unlimited check writing, and free online banking with bill pay. It even pays interest.
So you won't just save money, you'll make it.
So I figured I'd wear the shoes. I like them. I'll buy their stuff.
Oh, so I publicly traded.
It's on the New York Stock Exchange, genius. You gonna eat that?
No. So you're going to retire off of shrewd investments in footwear. That's brilliant.
No, wait a minute.
Well, the Rangers win this one 8-4. The play of the game is brought to you by Foxwoods Resort Casino. And we've chosen tonight Sammy Sosa's 2-run home run in the 6th inning. That was a 4-run 6 that kind of put it away for the Texas Rangers.
The final score again, Texas wins 8-4 for Jerry Remy and Tina Savasio. I'm Don Orsillo saying good night from Texas. Visit NESN.com where New England sports live online. This has been a presentation of NESN, New England's most watched sports network. Stay tuned next for W.B. Mason's Extra Innings with Tom Karen and Jim Rice.
Don, thanks very much. Red Sox fall back below 500 as Sammy Sosa closes in on 600. A cold night and a frustrating night for Red Sox Nation as the Sox have now lost 2 in Texas. I'll be joined by Jim Rice. We'll break it down for you. W.B. Mason's Extra Innings coming up next.
Closed captioning for Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Grubs. Their mission? Destroy your lawn. Now there's Bear Advanced Season-Long Grub Control with Merit. It's exclusive 2-in-1 formula stops grubs all season. Plus, it revitalizes your lawn, guaranteed. Bear Advanced.
A splitter looks like a fastball until velocity is lost and the bottom drops out. Watch every pitch in clear Panasonic motion. Panasonic Plasma for the speed of sports. Panasonic, ideas for life.
Dunkin' always gets my iced coffee just right. I like it strong. They double brew it. I like it with cream and sugar. They add it. It's like they're inside my head or something.
I feel that way too. Hey, I feel that way too.
So do I. It's amazing.
Dunkin' knows those who know iced coffee. America runs on Dunkin'. Stop by Dunkin' Donuts today and add one of our 9 delicious flavors to your coffee free.
Introducing the all-new Dodge Avenger.
Commence heat-seeking missile test.
With a heated cup holder. .5-liter V6. And ESP with all-speed traction control. Oh, did we mention the cup holder also cools? The all-new Dodge Avenger.
Oh, it was a cold night in Texas. There was snow in the forecast, though it never did fall. However, there was other trouble falling on the heads of the Red Sox tonight. 2-2 the score. The Red Sox had a 2-0 lead here. Michael Young will smack this one down the right field line off the pitch from Julian Tavares, and it gets by J.D. Drew. An error added to the double. Both runs score. Michael Young will come around with Jerry Hairston Jr. aboard. A 2-2 game on essentially a 2-run error to right field, though they do give him a double and an RBI. 4 batters later, Nelson Cruz singles. Teixeira, Sosa both score. That's with 2 outs. That's a 4-2 Texas lead. And the Rangers never look back on a tough night for the Red Sox bullpen. J.C. Romero couldn't get an out. 5 batters, 5 hits. Sammy Sosa, the big one. A 2-run homer, his first since August of 2005, the 589th of his career. An 8-4 night as the Red Sox are beaten in Texas. Hello and welcome, everyone. It's WB Mason's Extra Innings. Tom Kerr and Jim Rice here in our Nesson studios, the Nesson HD Television Center, and this was a frustrating game to watch.
It was. I mean, you misplayed ball by J.D. Drew, and Julian seem like he couldn't put the guys away. He had 2 strikes on a lot of hitters, and he had 2 outs, but he just couldn't put them away.
Yeah, not going after guys. He'd get ahead of the count 0-2 and nip and tuck. All of a sudden he walks a guy or he gives up a 3-2 hit.
You know, he's not that type of guy that he's a painter or anything like that, but it seemed like he was trying to paint. But when you got 2 strikes and you're up 2-0, why not go after the guy? And now you walk a guy or you fall behind, you're putting yourself deep in the grave.
Again, Sox had a 2-0 lead in this one, but things got real ugly in the 3rd inning. That's when the walk came back to haunt the Red Sox. In fact, too many walks tonight, as Tavares in 4 innings would walk 5, including Hairston here. That gets the inning started. And then the double somehow scoots under the glove of J.D. Drew, and that's going to rattle around the corner for a bit.
I think it was more misplayed than things. Maybe he took it off the ball because he had enough room down and the ball was still on the grass. It wasn't on the warning track or anything like that. So I think it was more misplayed, trying to probably catch the ball and spin around, throw to second base, and misplayed it.
We saw just 5 errors all of last season with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and an error here. In fact, surprising guys who've had the errors, 3, as you know, from Mike Lowell. Had 6 all of last season, 1 tonight from J.D. Drew. That keeps the inning going. Obviously, 2 runs coming to score, and it's far from over. Tavares could not get out of that inning. He would finally get it done, but more runs coming in. Mark Teixeira with a single off Tavares here with 1 out and a man on second. Sammy Sosa will get the base hit to move Teixeira to 3rd base, and then the walk will load the bases, and that one drops in front of Manny Cruz. You only see Manny at the end. It looks like he's not running. He was running. He did the right thing pulling up.
Oh, yes, he could have played that ball. I mean, that ball was sinking line driving. If he misplayed that ball, you got a man on 3rd base now. So he made the right play.
You see, he is running in, and then when he realizes that he would get there just as it was about to hit the ground, he has to pull up and play it off the hop.
Well, it's almost like a head-first slide. I mean, you know, and he's not going to be able to do that with his hand sticking out as far as trying to catch the ball. The ball gets by, could have it inside the park home run.
Well, I've gone one way through the rotation now. We've seen everybody in Tavares. The shortest start matching Curt Schilling's 4 innings on Monday. Tonight, Tavares, 4 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs. They were all earned. He walked 5, and that obviously hurt him. 87 pitches, 51 of them were strikes. And Tavares suffers a loss. He goes to 0-1 as the Red Sox now fall to 2-3. A lot of bullpen work tonight. Just about everybody came out there, and J.C. Romero had the toughest night of it all.
Oh, he did. I mean, it seemed like he couldn't get anyone out. I mean, it seemed like his changeup was up. I mean, everyone knew he was going to throw a changeup, but he just couldn't get anyone out. Everything that he threw was out over the plate. And when he threw it out over the plate, didn't have anything on it but the 5 fingers, they took advantage of it.
Including the 2-run home run for Sammy Sosa. They wanted him to provide a little pop to the offense, and he does just that. He came out of retirement, said he can still play baseball, and he certainly could tonight. A couple of hits, including number 589, and the hits keep on coming. It was Teixeira before Sosa, Laylock after Sosa, Wilkerson with the single, Cruz with the single. You hope this is just one of those nights, because last year J.C. Romero had a tough go of it too.
Well, you hope so, but the key thing here is location. If you're not hitting your location, with the Texas Rangers, everyone on that club swings the bat hard. They have one thing in mind: try to hit the ball hard and try to hit the ball at the ballpark. And if you make a mistake, they got a good chance of getting you.
They made mistakes tonight as the Red Sox are beaten. 8-4 is the final. They'll try to avoid being swept as Curt Schilling takes the mound tomorrow night. Right now we go back to Texas and check in with Tina Cervasio.
All right, TC, thank you. We'll be heading into the Red Sox clubhouse now and get some post-game reaction from the Sox. I'll also go one-on-one with Terry Francona in Terry's Take and get his opinion of just what happened to the Red Sox tonight in Texas. You'll also hear from the Rangers first baseman Mark Teixeira. All of that coming up from the Rangers ballpark in Arlington. But for now, let's check in with Sports Desk and Catherine Tappan.
Tina, thanks. Hi, everyone. In just a few minutes, I'll rejoin you. Can Boston College bring home the national championship in hockey against Michigan State? Highlights from St. Louis are moments away. And will Tiger Woods be in contention for Sunday's final round at the Masters? We'll show you Tiger's day at Augusta, so stay tuned. A Sports Desk update is coming right back when WB Mason Extra Innings returns.
The Subaru Dealers of New England all-wheel deal sales event is going on now. Buy a brand new 2007 all-wheel drive Subaru Forester, Car and Driver's best small SUV for the past 3 years in a row, and get $2,000 cash back plus 1.9% financing. Buy a new Forester for only $19,395. Go to NewEnglandSubaru.com for a list of local dealers. Feel the freedom with $2,000 cash back plus 1.9% financing.
Baffled by a strange disease that stretches the arms of people buying copy paper at office superstores, scientists at the W.B. Mason Institute studying the problem shocked the world by announcing a cure.
Free same-day delivery.
Call 1-888-WB-MASON by 11. Your copy paper will be delivered by 5. Now, a happy ending is well within reach.
Oh, but W.B. Mason.
When you search for a car at Autotrader.com, we send more cars your way than anyone. A lot more cars. So you can narrow it down by model, the color, even the price. And when you search from the largest selection,
That's the one.
you get the car you want at the price you want. No one has more cars in Boston. Autotrader.com, the ultimate automotive marketplace.
Dodge Caliber's versatility and great gas mileage make it perfect for a road trip. All the right features make it even better. Discover America's hottest products at your Dodge.
Time for our Subaru Star of the Game, brought to you by the Subaru Dealers of New England. Subaru, think, feel, drive. Sammy Sosa is smiling tonight. 2 for 5, his first homer since August 4th of 2005. 11 shy of 600 now, and the man can still hit the ball a long way.
He still can hit it. I think he's pushing for that 11 home runs. You know, he had a good ballpark in Baltimore, but it seemed like he just can't get anything going. But maybe not try to rejuvenate himself in Texas.
Tonight it came in the 6th inning with 1 out. J.C. Romero had a tough go of it, and the biggest blow came from Sosa. That was his first homer. Obviously with the Rangers, and his first as a member of the Texas Rangers since way back in 1989 when he hit his first major league home run with the Rangers. He was traded a month later. That one came off Roger Clemens back in '89 to the Red Sox at Fenway. This one tonight comes off J.C. Romero down in Texas. That's where we go right now. Tina Cervasio catches up with Mark Teixeira of the Rangers.
And with Rangers first baseman Mark Teixeira, part of a Rangers rally in the 3rd inning and also a really big 6th inning. But first, Mark, I have to ask you, Sammy Sosa's first home run with Texas, but to watch him hit his 589th career home run, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
Well, we're just happy for him because it's been a long time coming for Sammy. You know, he had a tough year last year, and just coming back for the game, we're all happy for him.
What did you see from Julian Tavarez when he started to sort of fall apart in the 3rd inning?
Well, you know, we just got to get the ball in the zone. You know, he was walking a guy here and there and, you know, leaving the ball up a little bit, and that's the only way you're going to hit him. He's got great stuff. If he keeps the ball down in the zone, it's going to be tough to hit him.
How effective was Kevin Millwood when he needed to be?
Kevin pitched very well tonight. He stepped up. It's not an easy night to pitch tonight, and he went out and did a great job.
You made a nice stab there at first base. Michael Young had a couple great plays. How much potential does this infield have?
Well, you know, I just hope that we can, you know, all stay healthy this year and play up to our ability. If we do that, we have a good shot this year.
Mark, thank you.
Thank you.
Tom, back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Mark Teixeira. 451st consecutive game for the Texas Rangers. He'll be a free agent at the end of the year, and there will be a lot of interest in Mark Teixeira, 2-time Gold Glover. Meantime, the Red Sox suddenly having trouble with the long ball here. Not a lot of power in the lineup so far. 1 home run in 5 games, Kevin Youkilis on Wednesday. That's the fewest homers after 5 games since 1993. Is that a concern right now?
No, I don't think so, because when you're talking about home runs, you're mainly just talking about maybe 3 guys, maybe 4 at the most. You're talking about Veritek, you have the ability to maybe hit 25, 30 home runs. Then you're talking about J.D. Drew. Then you're talking about Manny. And you're talking about Ortiz. I mean, everyone else probably will give you maybe 10 or 15 home runs, but we're not a home run hitting team. You hope that the pitching going to go out and keep you in the ball game, but we're going to score a lot of runs.
And hoping the pitching tomorrow with Kurt Schilling back on the mound. After his opening day loss, he will no doubt be ready to go against the Texas Rangers. As we head to break, remind you the new $10 Red Sox instant ticket is all about winning. There's over 600,000 prizes from $100 to $1,000 and amazing Red Sox prizes you can win instantly. For more info, visit masslottery.com. Please play responsibly. And we had a break with our W.B. Mason delivery of the game. Another tip of the cap for Sammy Sosa. His home run gets him one step closer to 600. 589 career homers for Sosa as he hits his first of the season in an 8-4 win for the Rangers.
Now you see me? Now you don't. Now you see me? Now you don't. What you are seeing is how much farther, wider, and better you'll see with new Silver Star Ultra headlights from Sylvania. Because the next time you see me, I may not be alone. See farther, see wider, see better. New Silver Star Ultra headlights from Sylvania.
You've never driven anything like it. The Nissan Murano. Seamless, efficient acceleration from its CVT transmission. You've never seen anything like it. SUV versatility, 5-star safety rating in one beautiful package. Lease the Nissan Murano for just $299 a month. Feel it, see it, believe it. At your Nissan dealer now.
So I figured I'd wear the shoes. I like them. I'll buy their stuff.
Oh, so I'll publicly trade.
It's on the New York Stock Exchange, genius. You gonna eat that?
No. So you're going to retire off of shrewd investments in footwear. That's brilliant.
Now wait a minute.
Gotta have to get it. Gotta have to get it.
Running out of paper for the big report, Herb Blewett wholeheartedly panics.
Gotta have to get it.
Don't panic, Herb. Just call 1-888-WB-MASON.
I gotta have to get it today.
Call by 11, you'll get it the very same day. Copy paper, toner, bathroom supplies, even staples. So who do you call when you gotta have to get it today? Who but WB Mason?
When you're from the islands, you just go out there to see the snow, you know. We just get water back home and humid weather, so you see the snow, you go out.
And he was rolling his eyes. So what are you talking about, an investigation? I mean, this guy didn't break any crimes. That is the rosin bag that they put out next to the hill. And so F-Rod, or whatever we call it, K-Rod, F-Rod, is exonerated. No harm, no foul.
But when you're talking about David Ortiz in a slump, I don't think he's in a slump. He's hitting the ball hard. You look at the position that they have him as far as defensive-wise. I mean, you have fielders playing like you're playing softball. So you got your second baseman out in short right field and you're hitting bullets out there. There's nothing you can do. Just keep swinging the bat. Eventually, he's going to get himself together.
As Jim Rice talking about Big Papi today on the pregame show, we will be coming your way next. As Olympia Sports presents the Boston Globe pregame show live from the new and improved Yawkey Way stage. That'll be Tuesday afternoon at 1 o'clock before Josh Beckett takes the mound. We'll have full coverage of opening day ceremonies and team coverage from the Boston Globe. Now, the New York Rangers, as expected, the New York Yankees, as expected, got the Rangers on the mind after 8 runs today. The Yankees, as expected, a potent lineup so far carrying the team because the starting pitching has not been strong of yet. Today, Kei Agawa, the lefty, making his first start for the Bronx Bombers and having trouble from the get-go. Nick Markakis with a first-inning homer and a 1-0 lead for the Orioles as they try to win their second straight game at Yankee Stadium. Melvin Mora adding to it, a 2-run homer here in the fourth. 7-2 Baltimore. The Orioles seem to be in command. 7 runs in 5 innings for Igawa. But in the ninth, bases loaded, now a 1-run game with 2 outs. A-Rod, a walk-off grand slam off closer Chris Ray. Second homer of the year for A-Rod. He's already got 3. And the Yankees win it by a final of 10-7. 7 runs in the final 2 innings for New York. Toronto taking on Tampa Bay. Tomo Oka on the mound for Toronto. Carl Crawford homers the first pitch Oka throws. First pitch of the season is a home run, and it is a 2-1 lead. Toronto had a 2-0 lead after the top of the first. Now Casey Fossum on the hill. And Frank Thomas gets his first homer of the year, and it's a grand slam. 9th grand slam of his career. And Toronto building up a 6-1 lead. Here it's 7-1, 2 on. Oka still on the hill, and Brendan Harris hits his first homer of the year. That's a 3-run shot. But Toronto still wins this one by a final of 8-5. Oka, 4 in the third inning, 5 earned runs. Sean Markham gets the win in relief.